Manchester Storm, the team who've got the lot. Big money backers, fantastic facilities, great support. But have they got what it takes to be Super League champions? We'll find out over the next 14 days. 7 tough games coming up, starting with 2 against the Bracknell Bees. This is the first of them, live for you on Sky Sports tonight. If they can win these back-to-back games against the Bracknell Bees, they will go 8 points clear at the top of the Super League table. This is how things stand. The Storm currently 4 points clear of second place Cardiff Devils. The Bracknell Bees have slipped down to 5th. That's because Ayr took a point from their overtime loss against the Sheffield Steelers last night. Bracknell eyeing that 4th place spot in terms of the playoff positions. Now, if we were to end the season right now, this is how it would look in terms of the playoffs. Group A and Group B, and Bracknell would go into B. Manchester would be the leaders, of course. They'd go into Group A. Nick Rothwell is alongside me in the studio tonight. Nick, couple of tough games coming up against Bracknell for Manchester Storm. Then they have a Challenge Cup semi-final against the Sheffield Steelers. Big few days for them.
It's not going to be easy. I mean, if you're going to win a championship, Dominic, I suppose you got to take the rough patches. But I mean, the 2 home games against Bracknell is going to be something that the Manchester Storm are really looking forward to. But the away ones, that's going to be another story. They've actually lost 3 of their last 4 games on the road. And there you can see they've got Ayr, Nottingham and Cardiff, which are going to be really demanding games.
Yeah. Do you think they will have won it or lost it by the time it comes to that Cardiff game?
I don't know, Dominic. I mean, with these 2 home games coming up, it's going to, you know, the 2 wins will give them, it'll send them 8 points clear, and with Cardiff chasing, it's going to be extremely hard. But, you know, we'll see what happens. These 2 games are vital for the Manchester Storm. One
of the really tough away games, of course, is going to be against the Nottingham Panthers. We all know what happened when these 2 teams met in the semi-finals of the B&H Cup.
That's right, Dominic. And this is where, if anyone's going to have any doubt about the Manchester Storm and what they're going to do, they're going to look back at the semi-final of the Benson and Hedges, where Kirk Leinendorf and his team were knocked out, which is, you know, it's can Manchester Storm bring it right through to the end and actually get their hands on some silverware?
Well, we know that the Bracknell Bees are capable of an upset or 2, don't we, Nick? And they'll certainly be coming here looking for something.
Oh, definitely, Dominic. And the thing about the Bracknell Bees, we know they're a tenacious, tough team, and they can win on the road. Of course, on New Year's Eve, they had that big game in Cardiff where they won, and we saw them do it in Sheffield. They're very, very tenacious, and they're very hard-working in the offensive zone. And Coach Kleinendorf says that if he can match the intensity of the Bracknell Bees in their defensive zone, then he's sure that they're going to get the breaks and the win.
Well, what chance do you give Bracknell of getting something out of these 2 games then, Nick?
Really, they've got a great chance because we know how hard they can work. And it's going to be down to how hard they work and their goaltending, and whether or not their goaltending can support the onslaught that I'm sure the Manchester Storm are going to give them.
So Bracknell determined to give Manchester Storm some problems over the next couple of days, but there's no doubt that Manchester have been the outstanding team of the season so far, with some guys who really know how to find the back of the net. Manchester's big guns, 102 Super League points between them this season. How are Bracknell going to cope with that? We're about to find out. Let's head to the commentary box where Nottingham Panthers coach Mike Blaisdell is joining Steve James.
Well, amidst the storm, there's a glow on the horizon. It's glinting off Manchester's first major piece of silverware. 2 points here would bring them within 5 points of that Super League title. Can the Bees roll the clouds back over the storm shelter? Mike Rowe, the referee, as we get this game underway. And we've seen the Bracknell Bees several times recently on Sky Sports start so well, especially on the road. You can expect them to play aggressive forechecking hockey right from the start. And having won the face-off, they're moving back, looking to get themselves into that Manchester zone for the second time. Nothing came of their first foray in there. This time they just dump it in low. And Manchester Storm have their first opportunity to show what they can do. In the corner, the puck picked up by Shane McCosh behind his own netminder. That's Bruno Campese back in the side. PC Druin just trying to get the puck back, but losing out to Kelly Askew, who manages to find Tomlinson. Coming forward now, this is Hoffman. And then Pierre Allard around the boards.
Well, Steve, it looks like Bracknell look like they're going to come out hitting tonight, so we should be in for a treat tonight. They're a very physical side, and they'll certainly try to knock Manchester around if they want to have any success tonight.
And perhaps Manchester won't relish that with 3 games to come in 3 days, including another one against Bracknell in here just 24 hours after this first game. 2 games in 24 hours in the Manchester Arena, both against the Bracknell Bees. Then they have a game against the Sheffield Steelers in the Challenge Cup. This is now Katola, Stefan Katola, first real opportunity of the game. Tries to pick out Morin, and Morin scores! First opportunity given, first opportunity taken. It's 1-0 Manchester Storm.
Well, it looks as though Bracknell kind of got caught down, too many men down low in the Manchester zone, and away they come, and they can skate. And there's the pass to Morin across. Great goal. But there's Manchester. They've done it all year. They've got the speed in their forwards. Here comes Katola. He's got his head up, makes the pass across. Morin makes no mistake. But Bracknell were forechecking and got caught down too low.
Well, the goal is scored by Mike Morin. That's his 5th goal of the season, but it's yet another point for Jeff Jablonski. And he really has been scoring very well of late, Jeff Jablonski, and so much better than he did last season. As Manchester, again, putting the pressure on here, they've really taken it to Bracknell Bees, who have got used to doing so well at the start of games in recent matches. But now they're going to have to come back. Of course, they fell behind very early on the very first shift up in Ayr and managed to win that one by 3-1. The teams for this evening's game, Manchester Storm, well, they've been the most consistent team of the season. They've had the fewest injuries, which must have helped, and they have a full-strength roster of 2 netminders, 6 defensemen and 12 forwards. Goalie Timo Kohonen has been injured, but Frankie Pietrangelo gets almost all the ice time anyway. Defenseman Marco Sten scored his first goal last week, and amongst the forwards, Dave Morrison isn't back to full match fitness. Tomlinson is their top point scorer, Jablonski the top goal getter, and with a point already in this game.
Well, Steve, I think Bracknell's got to be very careful, and we saw what happens when you over-forecheck against this Manchester team. They got a man caught down, or 4 men caught down in the Manchester zone, and that doesn't work well against Manchester.
Holding the puck up on their own blue line. This is the Bracknell Bees once again, and looking to try and get forward. Greg Burke picking out Rob Stewart. Loves to get forward, Rob Stewart. Wonder if he'll get many opportunities to pinch up in this game. It's picked up by Marco Sten. Not cleared first time, but now they can come forward once more. Manchester Storm with Dave Morrison. You won't necessarily see too much of Dave Morrison on the ice tonight. He's not fully fit after recent injuries and an operation. This is his first game since having an operation to put a steel plate inside his cheek after a recent accident. That's why he's wearing the full visor, the Manchester Storm captain. Allard with a shot. It's saved by Campese, who no doubt won't be happy at being beaten so early in the game.
You know, you talk about, there's a good shot. You talk about Morrison coming back with sounds like a horrendous injury when you have a plate put into your head, and, you know, you have to give him credit for coming back so soon.
Well, Dave Morrison had a few games out after the injury in a training match, and then he had that operation for a titanium plate to be put into his cheek, and I understand that's going to be with him for the rest of his life.
He's got to watch it when he goes through airport security, I imagine. Looks like Manchester, they're going to shoot the puck tonight. This Campese, though, is a good goaltender. He's represented the Italian national team recently, and I've been impressed with him so far this year, Steve.
Face off just outside the net of Bruno Campese. Shot didn't get through to him on that occasion. Bracknell now moving forward with pace. They do that well, the transition. Very quick. Druin going into the corner. not able to pick it up. It's Pierre Allard back there doing defensive duties. Allard, though, not holding on to the puck. Eventually, Kaliaski will pick it up, feeding it through. And the puck dumped in low. It's going to be chased all the way by Kaliaski. Blair Scott. Kalman will chase that one. Bracknell Bees, goal down already. This is Katola. Katola, good skating. But Gotay and Jablonski got right in there on the edge of the crease, couldn't quite turn it in. Another shot coming in, this time from Miller, and it's saved by Bruno Campese. We've had over 4 minutes. It's 1-0 to Manchester.
I think that was a real nice play by Stefan Katola here. He's really heads up. You can see he's looking for a man. Throws it out front, and there's Jablonski. You know, that could have easily been a goal, and you can see why Jablonski's their leading goal scorer. He gets himself open in that high slot, and but Katola looks like he's come to play tonight. He's flying.
Stefan Katola with the assist on Mike Morin's goal, along with Jablonski. Big shot again. It's saved by the netminder. Quite happy to cover up the second time. And I suppose it's always going to just change your game plan a little bit if you go a goal behind very early on.
Yeah, I think, you know, Bracknell came out, they really came out bumping and flying, and it was sort of unfortunate for them to get that early goal against. But they have the type of team that can come back in a game like this. They have a lot of good goal scorers up front.
They win the face-off this time. Off the boards and around to Denis Chassé. Looking for Ferruccioli. That's the first line for Bracknell out there with Chris Brandt on that line. On the other side of Ferruccioli to Denis Chassé. Ferruccioli held up on the blue line. Hoffman will chase in with Denis Chassé. And Manchester Storm defenseman caught out there. This is Brandt. Back to the blue line, turned back into the corner for Denis Chassé once again. Helped around once more to Ferruccioli. Just let the puck get away from him for a moment there. Still looking for a way through and looking for somebody out in front who was Chris Brandt. Couldn't get the shot on target. And Manchester trying to clear their zone but can't. This is Chris Brandt. Brandt, a chance to shoot for the slot, and a goal! Bracknell Bees, perfect response. 5 minutes gone, 2 goals already. It's Manchester 1, Bracknell 1.
Well, that was just an excellent example of hard work by Bracknell. They had the pressure on for quite a long time here. They had Manchester running around their own zone. And here's Chris Brandt, big, strong guy, gets the shot off, and you know, he drove to the slot, and he's a good skater. But look at his strength on the puck here. He's got a man on him, and he just keeps skating, and then fires it. And really, Peter Angelo didn't have much of a chance on that. It was right in the bottom corner. But Chris Brandt, he tells people he shoots the puck, buries his head, and fires it, and that's how he scores his goals. And it's obvious that it works for him.
Well, Chris Brandt says he isn't really a goal scorer, but that really was a great goal. Assists there for Denis Chassé and for Greg Burke, defenseman who's been playing well of late. In Bracknell Bees' real resurgence in recent weeks, they have been playing exceptionally well.
Yeah, Bracknell's a big physical side, and then you can see how that goal came about. They had strong work along the boards, and that's how they're going to be successful against this Manchester team. They have to work it down low.
Brabant getting it across to the far side for Rubachuk. Turned around, Jonathan Weaver, the other man on that line for Manchester. Brabant again, trying to find Weaver through, just held up slightly, goes into the corner with Matt Cote. And it looks as though Matt Cote will come away with it. Does. Very experienced player, vastly experienced compared to Jonathan Weaver, one of the youngest players in Super League. And a great prospect, Jonathan Weaver.
Well, there you see Bracknell icing the puck. They had a little bit of pressure against them, and that's probably a smart move when you play on the road. Just get the puck down if you feel like you're under any type of pressure, and they did exactly that. Now they get a face-off back in their own zone, and they slows things down. If you get into a wide-open skating game against this team, the Manchester Storm, they will kill you. You know, and we've seen that happen with our club, Nottingham. If we get open things up with them, they can really hurt you. They have so much speed on their transition. But if you clog up those middle zone and finish all your checks, be physical, you have a chance against them.
Well, we know Manchester Storm have a very talented lineup under Kurt Klein and Dorst. The question in recent weeks do they have the right mental attitude to try and go on just that last mile and win this title? This is what we're about to see, I'm sure. An early goal, they must have thought things were going great for them in this game, and suddenly they've been called back to 1-1. They're coming forward here now, though. Right out in front once again, and a big shot coming in. Turned over by Newmeyer. The shot from Newmeyer, Campese getting a touch to it, and it goes into the crowd. We'll have the face-off. Bruno Campese, just back from 3 games in Italy in the Swiss Cup, as Mike was saying.
You can see he's going to get a lot of action tonight. It looks like, you know, the way Manchester skate in this rink, and they find that these open men out high in your zone, and they can all shoot the puck. That's a difficulty about playing the Storm. All those defensemen back there have good shots, and they're danger at any time they're inside that blue line.
Manchester Storm, one of the sides that has the most shots on goal, according to the overall statistics. There's the one just going a little bit past. But most importantly for Manchester, they're the side that scores the most number of goals per shots. Just 9.1 shots on goal per goal, and that's the best in the league. Denis Chassé having a real tussle there with Hoffman. And the referee has called his first penalty of the game. Mike Rowe has called the penalty. It's going to be a power play for the Bracknell Bees as soon as the touch comes. There's Hoffman, and it's going to be Hoffman who goes off. And it's an interference call against Hoffman.
Well, you know, Bracknell dumped the puck in, and you know, they're really coming hard tonight. You have to give them credit. There's Brandt and I think it was Chassé came in real hard, and Manchester had to hold them up on the play. But you know, here we go, our first power play of the game, and Bracknell have a good power play. Look to them to get it to Chris Brandt out on the point. He likes to one-time that shot. He doesn't stop it. He's got an excellent shot, and now here comes big Frank Muscala, who will come out, and I imagine he'll be parked in front of Peter Angelo and giving him all kinds of trouble. He's a big man, and he'll be screening Peter Angelo.
Bracknell's power play is, this season, pretty good, more so at home, but 17.2% overall is not bad, and it's especially good in recent games. Here's their first opportunity to show it tonight. Johnston, Jeff Johnston. And there's a slashing call, so the power play didn't last too long there. Mike Rowe spotted something just there in front of the crease. And so the power play lasted just 10 seconds. And that's going to be a big disappointment for the Bracknell Bees.
I guess, I think Frank Muscala, his job is to get in front of Peter Angelo on that power play, and I imagine he took a little slash first and then retaliated, and you can see that. Well, he gave a slash on the back of the leg in front of the net, and Mike Rowe was watching, as they sometimes are.
Well, Mike Rowe knows all about it. He was a defenseman who played for many, many years. Did you play with? He certainly played against you, Mike. Did he play with you?
He played. I played with him actually in North America, but I was actually on the receiving end of some of his slashes as a defenseman when he played for Whitley Warriors.
But he knows what it's like out there, Mike Rowe. He knows what he's looking for. So we're playing now 4-on-4, and the Bracknell Bees' opportunity to take advantage of the power play was pretty short-lived. And there's even more space out there now with just the 4-on-4. There's plenty of room in this MEN Arena at the best of times. Chris Brandt going in. A half-hearted check in the end. Manchester Storm coming forward down the right-hand side, and this is an opportunity. Oh, well, Blair Scott was thrown off by the netminder Campese, being very aggressive and coming out there, and it paid off.
Manchester love this situation. They've got more room out on big ice, and they've got Tomlinson, Askew, guys like that can really skate with the puck, and they are dangerous 4-on-4, and you can see what happens when they get in that situation.
Tomlinson had plenty of room certainly that time and almost worked for Blair Scott, but Bruno Campese has made quite a reputation for himself in the short time that he's been in the British game. And there's the touch for the icing.
One of the things that Manchester does so well is they jump into the play. This is a defenseman coming into the play, Blair Scott, and the pass from Askew is right on the stick, and good save by the goaltender, but Manchester's defensemen will all jump into the play, and they add so much to their offensive capability.
Blair Scott, formerly with Basingstoke. This actually is his 12th club, which is quite a few clubs for a 26-year-old. He's had a few, mostly back home in the AHL. It's the American Hockey League, also the IHL and the OHL. He's certainly done the rounds, and he's performing pretty well for the Manchester Storm these days. And he, like the rest of them, is hoping that he's going to get a medal pretty soon. This is Rick Brabant. Brabant just dropping over. Oh, that's a good save once again there from the netminders. It went high. Shot from Katola. Brabant trying to get stuck in the corner. Still though, they haven't cleared the zone. Still an opportunity here for the Manchester Storm to get themselves back in front. They will have a 10-second power play, don't forget, coming up fairly shortly. This is Brabant again. Bracknell, though, clearing the zone.
Katola and Brabant doing a good job down in the Bracknell zone. They can really skate too. Matches just keep coming out with more and more good forwards every shift.
Well, it's a power play very briefly for the Manchester Storm, but that too is up. Hoffman came back now, Lascala's back, so we're back to 5-on-5. We've had almost half the first period, 2 goals so far. First one for the Manchester Storm, scored by Mike Morin, and an equalising goal by Chris Brandt, the chief, for the Bracknell Bees. Tussle in the corner, Mike Rowe quite happy to let things go there. Was a little push from behind, but that's all fair as far as Mike Rowe was concerned. This is Morrison once again. Wearing that full visor, as we said, because of his recent injury. And I wonder how much he fancies going into those corners. He's a brave lad. I'm sure it won't put him off as Bracknell come forward again, put in pressure around Peter Angelo. And there goes the net, lifted up from the other side. This time it's unusual, don't see that so often, as it being knocked off the other way.
So far, we got a great game going here. Look at this piece he drew and driving to the net. He's quite fearless here as he drives to the net. There's Peter Angelo. He's so strong on those situations. He knows how to position himself. But you can tell these players have come to play tonight the way they're crashing the net. And we've got a great game going here.
Just you could see there Blair Scott with his stick shepherding the puck back to Peter Angelo, which is the sensible thing for a defenseman to do, I guess.
Exactly, but then sometimes they put it in their own net. And then you see the goalie slash them.
10 minutes to go in this first period, just less than. Bracknell Bees, oh, what a great goal! What a fantastic shot! The Bracknell Bees have themselves in front in this game. And Shane McCosh from the blue line. And it's Manchester Storm 1, Bees 2.
Well, I'm not sure if the shot was tipped, but it looks like a Storm player might have bumped into it, but the way Bracknell crashes the net, Peter Angelo might not even have seen that puck. Quick release from McCosh from the point. Johnson wins the draw cleanly, but Weaver gets right out on top of this defenseman. But he still gets his shot off. There's Weaver in the picture, and I think it might have hit something in front. Peter Angelo looks like it changed direction on him, but shows the importance of face-offs.
That was Shane McCosh who got the shot in. But the goal has been credited to Jeff Johnston, who got a touch as it went through. An assist for McCosh. But it was a touch there by Jeff Johnston. And that's what you need to do, is get into those areas. And if you can get a touch, all well and good, Mike.
Bracknell's displaying the traits that make them successful. Driving the net, using their size and strength, and winning face-offs.
Marco Stentine to clear. This is Nemirovsky. You can see he's got his name on his back now, Mike Nemirovsky. He's still wearing number 10, his shirt. It's not actually the shirt he's going to be wearing once his official number 29 comes. But at the moment he's still wearing number 10. But this is the first time he's actually had his name on the back, so he's getting there slowly, Mike Nemirovsky.
They finally found someone that can spell it properly, I guess.
Why do you think I always say Mike and not Mikhail? Miller turning it right around the boards. Bracknell Bees with plenty of time here to look at their options before they come forward. They really are quite a side. Who would have thought they would have come here and be leading 2-1 at this stage, especially having gone behind.
Well,
with another... that was so close as well. They really are putting the pressure on and giving Frankie Peter Angelo something to think about. That was Chassé with the shot. And still, Manchester can't clear their zone. Now they can. This is Miller. Getting it forward on the far side. Manchester Storm. Oh, Bruno Campese wasn't quite sure how to deal with that one as Jablonski came forward. The net stayed on the moorings.
Well, there's certainly a lot of chances happening in this game. Here we go, we've got another one coming.
Ferriccioli out to Brandt. Brandt, I think, tried to pass it back to Ferriccioli. The defenseman slipped there, which suddenly gave Manchester Storm all sorts of problems. This is Stefan Katola once more. Katola. Still going. Mike Morin is driving towards the net. He'll pick it up behind the boards as well. Kelly Askew in there as well. And the Bracknell Bees do get it to Brandt, who gets it away down the far side. This is Blair Scott, defenseman. Rims it, sees where it's going to end up on the far side. Can Manchester Storm gain possession? They can with Kelly Askew, who just loses an edge. It's more pressure here, but the Bracknell Bees seem to cope with it very well, as we've seen them do so often in recent games. It's just starting to get a little bit fierce out there. One or two tempers starting to go. Pierre Allard is getting stuck in with a number of Bracknell Bees players, and I think Mike Rowe is going to have to call something here. Maybe he'll just calm it all down.
Well, I think Mike Rowe has some decisions to make. There was probably 3 infractions right in front of him within the space of about 10 seconds. I thought there might have been a penalty on this play. There was quite a hook there, but no penalty on that play. And then right away along the boards here, this is kind of a hit from behind. Could have been a penalty there, quite possibly. And Chris Brandt's obviously not happy about this. Stewart didn't think it was a good check either. Now Brandt's going to come back. Pierre Allard looked a bit like a pinball in a pinball game for a moment there.
If you pick on the Bracknell Bees in their own zone, you're going to get some back. Rob Stewart sticking up for Chris Brandt, who's a big enough player to stick up for himself. But Mike Rowe hasn't called anything for that. Mike Rowe does tend to let a lot of things go, doesn't he? He's the kind of referee that allows the game just to roll.
Well, he certainly let it roll there. There was, but this is an intense game. These two teams have come to play, and I think Paul Heavy's probably sitting back in Cardiff, loving every minute of this, because Bracknell has come and they're coming in here to win something.
Well, the cheers from Cardiff would be as loud as any from just outside of London if Bracknell could win this game. They've got another one in here tomorrow as well, between the two of them. And tomorrow they'll be wearing the opposite colours. Tonight it's Bracknell in the white. They're not actually the home team, but they're playing in the white colours tonight. They'll be playing in black, and Manchester in their home kit tomorrow. This is Todd Kelman. Kelman into Druin, got the shot on target. Peter Angelo had to make the save. He's already been beaten twice in this game. He'd only been beaten at home twice in the previous 5 games for the Manchester Storm. He had a save percentage of over 98% going into this game at home in 5 games.
Yeah, Peter Angelo is he's got a great team in front of him. Let's not take any away from him, but he's got a hell of a team in front of him, and they play extremely well in their own building. And often he doesn't see a lot of action, but he is certainly seeing some action tonight.
PC Drouin, French speaker, Pierre Claude. That's what the PC stands for. I should imagine Dave Whistle speaking to him in English, though.
Or broken French.
Bracknell. Shot comes in, and there's 2 players right out there in front. It was Nemirovsky who had a chance to stuff it underneath Peter Angelo, but couldn't manage to do it, and all of a sudden it's 3-on-2. This is Manchester Storm's chance. Brabant gets the equalising goal. Rick Brabant's been there, seen it, done it. That time he did it, and it's 2-2.
Well, there we go again. Here's Bracknell. They're pressing for the goal. They get 3 guys caught down, and away Manchester come on an odd-numbered rush. And they will make you pay when you do this. There's Brabant, drives the net. What a great pass, though, across. Not the goalie's fault. Rubachuk sees him. Brabant had a lot of patience and actually was skating backwards when he put this puck in. You can see how he stepped back, gave his stick, gave Rubachuk his stick as the target, and Rubachuk made the good pass there.
Brad Rubachuk with the assist. That's Rick Brabant, one of the best scorers we've ever seen in this country. He's the 2nd highest scorer in British history. Played on the Nottingham Panthers with Mike Blaisdell a few years ago. Mike's nodding.
Rick just keeps confounding the critics here, and he's just seems to get better every year. I think he's playing some of the best hockey of his career right now, and he's not as young as he used to be, but he plays with a lot of intensity, and you know, he's a real gamer, as they say. He comes to play every night.
I have a typing error on my notes. It says Rick Brabant is 24. I think that should be 34. He retired a couple of years ago to be a coach at Newcastle, but has come back as good as ever.
You can see all his gray hair is gone now. He looks younger again as a player and enjoying hockey again.
Well, he's certainly got the Manchester Storm going again in this game. It's 2-2, but the Bracknell Bees just don't lie down, do they? This is good pressure for them again. Riffled the net, but the wrong side of the net there from Brandt. Mike Morin. Around to Hoffman. Hoffman for the Manchester Storm. Held up. They do forecheck very aggressively, the Bracknell Bees. Now, this is Mike Morin who got the first goal of this game. We've had 4 so far. We've had almost 15 minutes of this game. Kettler into Hoffman. Hoffman got the shot, and Mike Morin was in there once more, looking to get a little touch. This is Morin once more. Katola being held up there. Manchester Storm losing possession there. This is Chris Brandt. Looking for some space to get forward. Needs some support. And it's now picked up by Ferriccioli in the corner. Ferriccioli cycles it back around once more to Chris Brandt, who's thrown to the ice by Miller. The referee, Mike Rowe, quite happy to let that one go, but Brandt and Miller not happy to have settled it there and then. I think we're going to have the gloves go down. They do. And this now is Miller against Denis Chassé, it is. Denis Chassé giving Chris Miller plenty of things to think about too. It's a real tussle, and now they'll start to tire, and they'll start to grab hold of each other. Chassé's got enough strength to get a few more in, though. Oh, now it's Miller coming back with a few.
Wow, this is a real battle here. We've had everything in this game. Great hits, some great goals, and now an excellent fight.
And this is how it started.
Well, I think this might have been a penalty here. Miller throws him to the ice, and Chassé obviously takes exception to it. I think he gives him a little belt in the back of the head now. Well, in the front here, gives him a swat. And then they decide, listen, let's get the gloves off and do this thing properly.
Do you think if Mike Rowe had actually called the penalty, we might not have had that developing the way it did?
Well, I think Chassé looked up and saw that the penalty wasn't called, and then decided to take things into his own hands. But those two players are pretty tired right now. They took a few swats at each other, didn't they?
Well, not even Mike Rowe could let that one go in the end. It's 2+2 for Denis Chassé, and 2+2 for fighting for Chris Miller as well. And it must be said, I think the crowd enjoyed that anyhow.
Well, they loved it. Are you kidding me?
Well, I've seen real boxing matches that haven't been as entertaining as that one, it must be said. And it means that with 2+2 for both sides for roughing, we're going to stay at 5-on-5 with just under 5 minutes to go. And it's Manchester 2, Bracknell 2.
They swung with lefts and rights. They switched hands. It was a good fight.
I certainly enjoyed that one. Bracknell Bees. 5-on-5, as I say. Lascala with the shot. He was tied up by Sten, so he couldn't get the second attempt on the rebound. This is Richard Uniacke, former Sheffield player, to Morrison, the Manchester Storm captain, with that full visor and the titanium plate in his cheek. Matt Cote having a real tussle with Morrison. Doesn't look to be shying away from anything, Dave Morrison, that's for sure. Moving forward, the Bracknell Bees almost got the pass away to Nemirovsky there, Paxton Schulte. Paxton Schulte had been involved in the fight. We might have seen real fireworks. Manchester Storm coming forward with Kelly Askew. Great skater, got a good shot on him as well. That time it was taken quite comfortably by Bruno Campisi. PC Drouin now coming forward, just putting it wide onto the wing for Colin Ward. And now Drouin going into the corner and getting checked against the boards by Newmeyer. And Kelly Askew has gone down, and he seemed to be clutching his knee then for a moment as well. Certainly does appear to be in some sort of discomfort there. He's holding his head as well. It's obviously in a bad way. This is what happened.
I think he went to hit Colin Ward, and as Colin Ward cut in, I think their knees collided. And yeah, you can see that. And I hope he hasn't hurt his knee. You never want to see anyone get hurt, especially knees, because they can be so serious in ice hockey. But he certainly looks in a lot of pain. It certainly wasn't anyone at fault there. Askew went to come in and throw a check on Ward, and Ward tried to avoid it, and their knees collided. But Askew certainly looks in pain. Let's hope that he's done something to the thigh muscle or something, which is not something that would give him long-term damage. But he doesn't look like he's enjoying things at the moment.
Kurt Klein-Dorse will be a little concerned about that, I'm sure. He does have a strong bench. He's not suffered from injuries the way Mike Blaisdell has, and indeed an awful lot of the coaches in Super League this year. And he certainly has plenty of strength there. Darrell Lipsey you can see as well standing behind the bench, but they will be very concerned because knee injuries can be very, very serious indeed.
Yes, and I mean Askew's such a key player for the Storm. He's I think he's the finest skater in the Super League. He's one of the finest skaters in the Super League, and they certainly do not want to be losing that player for any amount of time. And let's hope that it's just a you know, a Charlie horse, as they say, or a dead leg, as they say, and you know, that can cause a lot of pain as well. And that's hopefully I think that's what's going through Kurt Klein-Dorse's mind right now as well. Let's hope it's a Charlie horse that will clear itself up in 2 weeks or so, or 10 days. But he's certainly, I wouldn't think he's going to play anymore in this game by the looks of it.
Well, they've brought the stretcher onto the ice. They're going to put him on to that stretcher. He perhaps winded himself as well, maybe as he fell as well. I know the knee would be a very painful injury, but he certainly seems to be in a bad way besides just the knee injury. He's holding onto his head there. The crowd deservedly giving Kelly Askew a round of applause. And I'm sure he'll be in very safe medical hands as he goes off to get some treatment.
He's a real crowd favorite here in Manchester. He's probably one of the most exciting players in the league to watch. You know, he comes from behind the play. He's got great speed, a great shot, and I think he's been one of the better players in the league this year. Kelly
Askew started his career back at home, of course, played with Team Canada for almost 50 games. Then was playing with Newcastle Cobras in Britain before going over to Germany and playing for the Frankfurt Lions last season, and then coming over here to play for the Manchester Storm.
Manchester have so much depth in their lineup that they have some extra forwards. They'll probably not miss him that much this game, but you know, certainly if he's out for a while, that could be a painful injury to the Storm.
Ward and Tomlinson. BC Druin takes the puck away. Druin, he's got 3 Bracknell Bees players out there around the crease, and all of a sudden they've got really caught here. It's a 2-on-1. Greg Burke has to hold up Katola. Did enough to make him just shoot, and the save was taken by Campisi.
I think we've seen it all night so far. Bracknell gets some pressure down low. They're excellent at banging and mucking and grinding, as you say, in the corners, but then they're leaving themselves open at the back, and if you do this too often, you're in trouble against these guys. The Storms, all their goals, or both their goals, have been scored off the break, and here they get another chance here. I thought Katola probably could have walked in a little closer there, or maybe made the pass, but he decided to take the long shot. He didn't get much on that shot, actually, so it was an easy save for Campisi.
It's won a face-off. Britt Brabant losing out to Ferraccioli that time. Brandt doesn't clear the zone, and it's picked up here, and the shot from Rubachuk not quite finding its way towards the target, and Bracknell do come forward now. This is Chris Brandt. Brandt going behind Peter Angelo. Brandt holding up, getting the puck back to the blue line, turned back into Chris Brandt once again, and he's now being turned over, and this is a chance now for Brabant and Weaver to show what they can do. Brabant, it was Cote's skates that deflected that away from goal. It's Rubachuk. Holds his man up, so Weaver is free to take the puck. He then finds the close attention of Matt Cote, and Bracknell Bees can come forward. This is Ferraccioli. Manchester with Jonathan Weaver, the young Brit, 21-year-old. Still going, can he wrap it in? Got the shot away eventually. Stewart. Big Rob Stewart getting up, looking for Lascala. It's taken by Manchester. Long shift this one for Weaver and Brabant and Rubachuk for Manchester. Weaver losing out though to Mike Nemirovsky, fresh on the ice after a line change. This is Cote. And Manchester still haven't, they have just about changed that line. They've got Jonathan Weaver going off now as well. They've got Darren Hurley out there with Morrison. And Todd Kelman tidying up there for the Bracknell Bees to Paxton Schulte.
Manchester are playing almost a patient waiting game, waiting for Bracknell to forecheck, and then they come back on the break. Weaver showed what happens there as well.
Thanks to Schulte. Pass across the zone, turned back in again. This time it was Shane McCosh, who's got plenty of goals for the big defenseman too. He's the 4th highest defensive scorer in Super League, Shane McCosh. Todd Kelman. McCosh once more. He just dumps it in low. Nobody chasing it in on the forecheck this time for the Bracknell Bees. They decided to go for the line change instead. This is Tomlinson. Tomlinson, the top point scorer for the Manchester Storm. Rob Robinson getting it to Tomlinson. Tomlinson just held up there by Greg Burke. Manchester flying forward again with Patola. Druin checks him against the boards. Puck comes away. Hoffman getting stuck in there on the far side with Colin Ward. It's back into the corner, and Bracknell Bees have found room to pick up possession of the puck.
Well, I think Bracknell will be happy to get through this period 2-all. Great road period for them, though, to come in here and get 2 goals. Clock's winding down, only about 10 seconds. I think Manchester will just sit behind their net and wait out that time.
Manchester Storm have never lost a first period here this season. In fact, they've won just about all of them. This time, though, they had to settle for a draw. Kurt Kleinendorf saw his side go ahead in this game, but then saw his side behind to Dave Whistle's team. And in the end, it's tied at 2-2 after the first period. Great action, and we'll look back on that. More thoughts from Mike Blaisdell coming up after the break.
Four live football games coming up for you in the next 3 days on Sky Sports. On Friday, it's Sheffield United against Bradford. On Sunday, Birmingham against Bolton, followed by Wimbledon against Aston Villa, and then Motherwell against Celtic. 4 live games for you in 3 days here on Sky Sports 1. Oh, here on Sky Sports, I should say, anyway. Fantastic first period we've just seen between Manchester and Bracknell here at the MEN Arena. 4 goals, Manchester out shooting Bracknell 9-8. Plenty of penalty minutes racked up, and the face-offs are going Manchester's way as well. Real breathtaking stuff, wasn't it, Mike Blaisdell?
Yeah, that was a very entertaining period. We had 4 goals and a pretty good fight as well, which gets the fans off their seats, certainly.
Yeah. And an injury. We'll talk about that in a moment. What about the goals? What a great start for Manchester.
Well, Manchester, they are such a good team, as you say, what transition is. As soon as they get the puck, they move the puck to the head man, and then away they go. You know, Bracknell gets caught a little bit too many down low, but look at Manchester going. Look at the support they get with the skater going to the net here. Morin just drives the net, and a great pass there. Katola's got his head up the whole way and makes the clear pass across, and Brandt couldn't quite catch up with as the back checker there, but Manchester can really hurt you on those breaks. Bracknell
would have been obviously disappointed by that, but it certainly didn't seem to knock them out of their stride, did it? If anything, they came back stronger.
I've been impressed with Bracknell lately. We tied them 6-all in our rink, and what they do well is they muck and grind down low. And here you can see they just work the puck down low, and then Brandt comes across that slot area, that dangerous area, and just fires the puck. And he's one of the best shooters in the league. When he gets it in this area, the goalie's got a lot of trouble. He just fires it, and you know, Peter Angelo was down and didn't have much of a chance on that one. Yeah,
a little difficult to tell who scored the third goal, which made it 2-1 to Bracknell. But what did you make of that one?
Well, it shows the importance of winning a face-off. Jeff Johnson wins the face-off back to the point, and then he gets to the net, and I think he got a little chip on it with his stick. But see, he wins the puck from Brabant, and then he gets himself positioned to the net. The puck comes through, and whether he or Brabant touched the puck, I'm not really sure, but you know, certainly it was good to win the draw, and then they get to the net. That's what Bracknell does well. They're a very strong physical side, and they're a little bit bigger than the Storm, and so they drive themselves to the net, and that's how they can have success in this game.
They both have good records in first periods, actually, and Manchester are pretty impressive at home. That equalising goal will have been important for Kurt and the boys.
Yeah, they you know, they're so strong in this rink. I don't think they ever panic, and they know they can come back. But again, it's another classic Manchester goal. Here they get, you know, it's 3-on-2. Now, Brabant will drive straight to the net here. He gets open, and then he backs up. I like the way he did that. He turned around and faced the play, and it allowed him to have more time on the puck. And if he wouldn't have done that, he would have gone right past the net. But he turned, and that shows why he scored so many points all these years in the Super League and in the leagues before.
You talked about Bracknell getting caught low a couple of times there and not having enough people back in defence. Were you surprised that seemed to continue right through that period? Would you expect that to be addressed?
Well, I think they'll talk about it in the period. They had some great pressure, But their third man, as you say, their third forward, you know, you have the 2 down working low, and then you should have a high forward who's there for defensive purposes as well. He still can be a scoring threat, but then if the puck does turn over to Manchester's side, he can then, that third forward then can be a defensive player coming back, and then they don't get that odd numbered rush that Manchester has had. But Manchester, they will punish you, and if the game continues like this, they skate so well, if Bracknell keeps getting caught, then it could be a lot of heat on Campese.
Great fight, but what about the injury to Kelly Askew? Because you said that could be significant. He's a great part of Manchester's season and this game so far.
I think he's been one of their best, if not their best forward all year. I mean, he's been very good against us, and I've seen every game. He's such a good skater, but it was unfortunate what happened. He tried to play the man on Ward, and Ward was carrying the puck with a lot of speed, and it was quite a collision. But it was the 2 knees that hit, and obviously Askew's came out worse for wear. But hopefully, we haven't had a report yet. But I hope it's just, as they say, a Charlie horse on the top of the thigh, or a dead leg, as they say.
I've not heard of Charlie Horse, I must admit, but a
Well,
dead leg I have
Canadian
heard
term.
of. Let's hope he gets better anyway. We'll update you with any injury news as and when we get it. But we're going to leave the action here just for a moment or two to fill you in with what's been happening off ice with Nick Rothwell.
Well, we all know that ice hockey is the fastest team sport in the world. And I'm up in Manchester with Brad Rubachuk and Jeff Jablonski of the Manchester Storm to see how fast these guys are off the ice on 4 wheels. Well, enough of the racing. Now it's time to see who the quickest is. Time trials.
3 laps each, and despite an early slip, Brad Rubachuk got a credible 1 minute and 32 seconds. But Jeff Jablonski in car number 10 shaved a good 8 seconds off that time, hugging the bends all the way around to take top spot. And as for your intrepid reporter, well, the number 2 car gave me some problems. The least said, the better.
Did you guys have a good time out there?
That was unbelievable.
Great time. Great time.
You've ever done it before?
Yeah, I've done it a few times, and every time it's a blast.
I could tell because you were in front most of the time.
Yeah.
I've never done it before. Brad, you guys are 4 points clear with a game in hand. Obviously, it's a position you guys are pretty happy with.
Well, we're happy. I mean, it's by far, no means it's over. I mean, there's, we do have a game in hand, this Thursday against Bracknell. We actually play back-to-back Thursday, Friday at home, which is good because it's at home. We have 2 home games, but it's I think it's going to come down to the wire. We still go to Cardiff and we have to play them in their barn, and we got Ayr and Nottingham. Those 3 teams on the road in 4 nights, so it's going to be a tough schedule, that little part. But we'll just have to sit back and see what happens. But I think it's going to come down to the last part of the season.
The league title is now down to a 2-horse race between you and Cardiff, and the Devils are right on your heels.
Yeah, they are. And they're not a team that you can take lightly and expect to lose too many games. So we're not going to get any favors from around the league. So we're going to have to keep winning and be sharp every night.
The Manchester Storm have yet to have collected a major trophy. I mentioned that's a big thing going on in your changing room right now.
Yeah, it is. There's we were in the running for any trophy for last season, and we didn't get any. And like you said, we're hungry for one, and what better one than the Superleague?
Jabber, presentation time. My 2nd place trophy. Yours first place. All right, congratulations. Hey, what's that? Something's rattling in there. Oh, here, Nick, here's your 3rd place trophy.
Hey, well, listen, I don't believe that. I've been in a car with Nick Rothwell, and believe me, he's a Grand Prix driver out there. Mike, a difficult run-in for Manchester with these tough away games coming up, including the game against Nottingham. How do you see it for them now? Will they just be taking it a game at a time, or are they going to be thinking ahead to all that? I
think they have to just take it a game at a time. They sort of control their own destiny now. If they win their games, the ones they should win, they can win the title. And they would have to really come off the rails, and then they can't worry about what Cardiff does. They have to just win their games and take care of their own business.
Yeah, what's impressed you most about Manchester this season?
I think their skating ability, I don't think they have a bad skater in the whole side. They, you know, all their defensemen can jump into the rush and be an offensive threat. I love the way they move the puck. They never hold the puck on their stick very long. They just move it to the head man, and they're always skating. And they seem like a really fit team. They've avoided injuries, obviously, and then whenever you do break them down, they've got that Peter Angelo back there.
They've certainly been impressive in the first period. We're about to find out what they can do in the second. It's 2-2 between the Manchester Storm and the Bracknell Bees. Manchester fans certainly enjoying their night out. What's in store for us in the second period? We're back with the second next. England's first game in the Five Nations Championship is live for you on Sky Sports this weekend. The Calcutta Cup at stake as England take on Scotland live from Twickenham. Sky Sports 2 Saturday from 1:30. Right now we're at the MEN Arena in Manchester watching a great game between the Manchester Storm and the Bracknell Bees. It stands at 2-2 at the moment. Let's get some injury news before they face off for the second. Nick Rothwell is ringside.
Dominic, just to let you know, about 5 minutes left of that first period, Jeff Jablonski had to go off for some treatment. He was with Julie Trevors, their physio, and that's when Kelly Askew actually got hurt. So she had to run out of the room and help Kelly. Now, the update on the injuries is that Jeff Jablonski's back, he's okay, and that Kelly Askew, he's got a Charlie horse on his thigh. It's sore as anything, he says, but he's got full movement, so he's okay, and they might expect him to be back in the third period. We'll see. Dom?
Thank you, Nick. Well, that's certainly good news for Manchester and their supporters. Second period about to face off. Let's get back to the commentary box with Mike Blaisdell and first Steve James.
We broke with tradition in the first period. Every game so far between these two sides this season, 4 of them prior to this one, had gone 1-0 to the Manchester Storm in the first period. They certainly didn't have things their own way. In this game, though, in the first period, they trailed at 1.21, 2-2, and really, as you said, Mike, we had just about everything, didn't we?
Well, it was a very entertaining period of hockey, and if the second period is anything like that first, we're in for a great game. It's good news to hear that Askew's not badly injured and that it was a dead leg, as they call it over here. But as Nick says, it's called a Charlie horse in North America. So,
and
thigh injury, anyways.
Well, whatever. We may even see him in this game yet. So, let's hope so. Bracknell Bees started very well in this game, suddenly found themselves a goal behind anyway, and still managed to come forward. They got a chance to come forward here as well, but John Newmeyer's there to show us his golf swing and get the puck away.
There's nearly a chance for a breakaway there by Bracknell to start this thing off. We're certainly in store for some heat on the goalies, both ends. Both teams are playing with a lot of confidence, and they're really offensive-minded tonight.
Well, Dave Whistle has a side that does like to be very aggressive on the forecheck, but you can get caught, as we saw by Manchester Storm. So does he have to think of ways of modifying his game to cope?
No, I think they've found success lately, and you know, they might have to modify a bit against the Storm team, but they've been playing very well in the league with this strong forecheck of theirs, and they have the big, strong forwards that punish the other team's defensemen.
Bracknell Bees. Just in case you're thinking, well, hang on a second, they're wearing the white shirts and Manchester wearing the black shirts. I thought this was in Manchester. It is, but they're playing each other again tomorrow. This is a chance. Pierre Allard, almost got another chance as well, and Bracknell Bees very grateful to get that one away. Still actually haven't cleared it altogether. Manchester, Pierre Allard was left with acres of space in the slot to shoot. And thank goodness for Bracknell that they were able to have Bruno Campese coming up big in that occasion. Otherwise, they would have been behind early in the second, just as they were behind early in the first.
Well, that was one of those funny bounces, Steve, off the boards that you sometimes get. And here we come with a good chance here.
Brabant tried to get the shot away. Bracknell Bees, though, coping with that one. Just to confirm, they're wearing white. They're going to be wearing black tomorrow as they play Manchester Storm twice in this arena in 24 hours. They'll be the away side tomorrow as well, and wearing the away side's kit. Manchester going back to their white. This is the Bracknell Bees putting some pressure on. The pass out to Brandt didn't quite find its man. Chassé turned. There's a penalty coming up here. And Rubachuk roughing, a 2-minute call, and so we're going to have a power play for the Bracknell Bees. They had 10 seconds of power play in the first period. I wonder if they'll have longer to show us what they can do this time.
Bracknell did a great job again. They're showing where their strengths lie, and that's in the size and strength of their forwards down low. And they get a little pressure down. Here's the penalty. It looks like part of an elbow, part of a definitely roughing though. Rubachuk looked over at the ref like an angel that hadn't done anything wrong. But he's certainly got a penalty now.
44 minutes for the season now. Brad Rubachuk, the leader in taking penalties for the Manchester Storm. And the Bracknell Bees with such an impressive power play of recent times. If you discount the 10 seconds at the start of this game, they've got a 62.5% power play record in the last 2 games, which was against Sheffield and Nottingham Panthers. And they scored 5 from 8 in those 2 games.
Yeah, I was impressed their power play against us. We tied them 6-all, but I think they might have 3 power play goals that night. And they move it around well, and they have some good shooters. And again, like we said, they like to get in front of that goalie and make sure that he doesn't see those shots.
Troy Newmeyer, though, can clear for the Manchester Storm. Happy to just dump the puck. And it's now the Bracknell Bees who'll have to come forward and build. They've given the puck away here to Jablonski. This is Jackie Jablonski, and he's not the man to give the puck away to. Their top goal scorer for Manchester Storm. You really don't want to do that. Chassé. And Ferruccioli getting in there as well. Bracknell Bees yet to get a shot on Peter Angelo on this power play. In the first period, their power play lasted 10 seconds. Manchester Storm had 10 seconds then at the end of 2 minors. So far we haven't seen, although we've had an awful lot of action and excitement in this game, much in the way of success on the power play for either side. Still moving it around nicely. More than a minute already gone on this power play. We've got 45 seconds left for the Bracknell Bees. They can't keep it in the zone though. This is PC Drouin going back to his end of the ice. Trying to throw off Brickbank. Does that with a neat move behind the net, and PC Drouin will come forward. Finds Dale Junkin.
Manchester's doing a great job killing this penalty. They've stacked their blue line pretty well, and they're forcing the Bracknell players to overstick handle at that blue line. Bracknell should probably start dumping the puck and then using their big strong forwards to get in there and get some muscle going down in the corners. But it's certainly a good job by Manchester. Brabant there up front, and Moran skating well, and they were forcing Bracknell into making errors.
27 seconds left on the power play. Manchester Storm have the very best power play penalty killing record at home as Campese fields the puck. Only 2 power play goals have been scored in the MEN Arena this season. 96% is the statistic. 96% penalty killing at home for Manchester Storm.
That's an incredible statistic, and I certainly didn't realize it was that high, but that's incredible to only have that many power play goals against. But they have excellent penalty killers, and again, you talk about Peter Angelo. When the heat gets on, he's been strong, and he's a big reason why they're in first place right now.
Jeff Jablonski getting more treatment there from the Manchester physio, and a report there for Kurt Klein endorsed as well. She's certainly been very busy. We've got 4 seconds left on this power play, and Manchester Storm will have improved that figure to even better than 96% very shortly, because the face-off is in the Bracknell zone. The fans certainly enjoying themselves on a Thursday night here in the Manchester Arena. 2-2. Some good hockey they saw in the first period. It's been a little quiet at the start of the second period. This is Pierre Allard, who had 1 really good effort, or 1 good opportunity, which he couldn't take advantage of early in this period. He couldn't get the shot away there either. The power play is over. The penalty is up. This is Robinson for Katola. Marcos then dumps the puck. Oh, well, Campese's given it straight away to Pierre Allard there. Got away with that one. Nemirovsky trying to win it for the Bracknell Bees. In there with Pierre Allard. A Finn and a Frenchman in that corner. It's now cleared out of the zone. Marcos then, another Finn, turns it back in once again. Stefan Katola chases it in. And Pierre Allard will pick up possession once more for the Manchester Storm. It's a good check. Manchester cycling the puck well. This is Rick Brabant. Still Brabant. Still Brabant. And he gets the shot away! Brabant! Well, second goal of the game. and he just gets better and better and better.
Well, Brabant here, you could see Bracknell looked a little bit lackadaisical in their own zone for a moment there, and they kind of gave the puck away, but Brabant keeps his feet moving, drives through the slot area, and then takes a backhand shot, which you don't see too often, but boy, he gets a lot of mustard on that shot. You know, sign of a good goal scorer. He can shoot on his backhand as well, but that was no chance by the goalie. You can see that here's the goalie's view. He sees nothing here. Brabant's come across, backhand shot, too late. The only thing Campese saw was the puck hitting the back of the mesh, and we saw him fishing it out.
I think Mike Rowe was going to call a penalty on that play, but Rick Brabant scored that goal, his second of the game, and so Manchester Storm back in front. They led at 1-0, trailed 2-1, and now they're back to 3-2. This is Greg Burke icing the call. We'll go back down to the other end, and Bracknell Bees have to pick themselves up once more.
Well, Rick Brabant is showing he comes to play in these big games, and I think you know, he just finished killing a penalty. He's getting a lot of ice time, and then he goes out and scores the go-ahead goal. And you know, he's a key member for this team, and he's a key member for them down in this stretch drive.
Rick Brabant's been over here a long, long time now. First of all, came over to play at Durham back in '87, had spells with Nottingham and Cardiff, and Newcastle, of course, with a coach. He's the second highest scorer in British ice hockey history, Rick Brabant, and he's got 2 tonight, and he's been getting a fair number of power play goals this season as well, Rick Brabant. The shot comes in, it's saved by Frank Pietrangelo. Bracknell Bees responded so well last time they went behind. What can they do this time? Well, they've lost the puck. Weaver, that's Rick Brabant once more. Brabant, good pass to Rubachuk. Rubachuk to Weaver, that would have been a great goal. Miller turns it back in again. Rubachuk trying to get the touch. Weaver and Brabant, of course, were coach and player at Newcastle before coming here. And it's so fascinating to see a young player and an old, experienced player, and I'm sure Weaver has learnt an awful lot from Rick Brabant over the years. Bracknell trying to come forward. There's another penalty being called here. It's going to be a power play opportunity coming up. And it's a holding penalty called against Chris Brandt. Chris Brandt goes for holding, so now the Manchester Storm have their first power play of the evening. First proper power play.
Well, you can see him just rugby tackle Morrison there, and I think Brandt knows that he had a penalty all along. He didn't argue that one too much.
Chris Brandt has got a goal already in this game, and now he's picked up a couple of penalty minutes to go on his statistics as well.
Well, now we get a chance to see the Manchester power play, and if you watch these guys move the puck, they probably have they're the team that move the puck the best on the power play. They just zip it around, and they don't hold it too long, and they've got 5 guys capable of scoring out there every time they put 5 guys out on a power play.
Like most statistics, Manchester Storm have the best power play in Super League, 21.4%. This is their opportunity to try and improve that. It's only the 3rd best at home, actually, but it's not much in it, really. They're 21.1% at home, and they have a record this season of just 11.1% against Bracknell on the power play. This is Stefan Katola. They are moving it well. Oh, there's a big check against the boards, but Manchester Storm still have possession of the puck, working it around the boards. Pierre Allard going in once again. Tomlinson, it's back into that corner. Shane McCosh working hard for the Bracknell Bees. That's a sensible pass. And Bracknell have a chance to clear the zone. They'll dump it long. Both sides will take the opportunity for a line change. This is Jonathan Weaver out there now with Jablonski. Hurley's out there too, and Rick Brabant. Blair Scott, the other player for the Manchester Storm. Frank Pietrangelo will take that one. Just 40 seconds left on the power play, and Manchester Storm not creating opportunities for all their good movement.
I think Bracknell are doing a good job on this penalty kill. They force on every situation. Bracknell, you notice they went right down there and forechecked Manchester in their own zone, even though they were man short.
penalty killing for Bracknell is something they do very well away. On the road, they have the best. At home, they're the worst. And not quite sure what the difference should be, but certainly away from home, Bracknell Bees are very impressive. And I think their penalty killing at home was wrecked by the London Knights, who scored 5 power play goals in one game when they had one of their inexperienced young netminders, Greg Rockman, on loan, in fact, from the Cardiff Rage, in that particular occasion when they had injury problems with their netminders. Shot coming in from Branch, rather. Morrison tried to find Richard Uniac, who might have been a Bracknell Bee when he was released from Sheffield Steelers. Brandt gets the shot away, he's already scored, and Junkin almost got a chance as Frankie Pietrangelo just dropped the puck there. And we expect better, I think, of Frankie Pietrangelo than that, but even the great ones make the odd mistake, I guess.
Well, that was quite a shot that Brandt let go. It was from a long ways out, but he stops and looks and then just decides to fire it. I think Pietrangelo didn't realize where the rebound had gone, and then look at those Bracknell players come for the rebound. They're not messing around tonight. They just crash the net. Bracknell does that as well as anyone in the league. They just come for those rebounds. You can see Pietrangelo got knocked into the net.
As Frank Pietrangelo signed up here for another couple of seasons yet. That's good news for Manchester, bad news for everybody else in Super League. Frank Pietrangelo, who's been beaten twice in this game and had only been beaten twice in the previous 5 home games. He's already had 5 shutouts this season, while 4 and a share of a shutout with Timo Kauhanen. Saves it this time and hangs on to it, no problem at all. We've had just over 8 minutes of this second period, 1 goal in the second period so far. It's Manchester 3, Bracknell 2, and the crowd taking the opportunity to show their appreciation of the players and enjoy themselves a little bit too.
Here Bracknell have that big line out, the big meaning in size. You've got Schulte and Lascala on the wings with Johnstone, and they're certainly one of the bigger lines in the league, and you can watch them. They're not pretty out there. They're not fancy. They're not ballet dancers. They just get to the net and they do the dirty work down low out there.
We saw the physio just passing on some information again. I don't think she's doing any coaching. I think she must be giving Jeff Jablonski some advice on his injury. It's a touch for the icing by Marco Sten, so we'll go back to the other side. Stefan Kettler as well on the bench there, and Jeff Jablonski did have that injury just at the end of that previous period, about the same time that there was that injury to Kelly Askew. We're still waiting to see whether he will be coming back out onto the ice.
Well, the physios in the Super League certainly earned their money. They've been very busy with our team, certainly, and Manchester's one of the teams that's avoided the injury bug pretty well this year, and it's probably one of the reasons why they are 6 points clear of the top.
That's Jeff Jablonski. It's an offside call there. We've got 11:16 left on the game. Jeff Tomlinson, who has been scoring points this season, and he's already got himself a point in 16 of the last 17 games, 8 goals, 13 assists in that period. This is his 2nd season with the club, and he certainly is going very well at the moment with 40 points.
Thomason's been relatively quiet tonight. I haven't really noticed him that much tonight, but Brandt seems to be the star of the game tonight so far for the Storm.
Save, of course, has been upset slightly by losing his line mate Kelly Askew. And the line's just shuffled slightly by Kurt Kleinendorf since that injury. This is Bracknell Bees getting stuck in there with Paxton Schulte, big man. Lascala, he's a big man too, gets the puck away, but it's picked up by Allard. Shane Lacoste, did he keep it in? No, it went over the blue line offside. Let's go down to ringside and get some latest news from Nick Rothwell.
More injury news down here at the Manchester Storm bench. Jeff Jablonski, we saw him come back for the second period here, but he's had to go off. And we also saw him getting a lot of treatment there from Julia Travers, the physio. She's been one of the busiest people out here, probably more busier than some of the players. She's treating Stefan Kettler and Jason Weaver as well with some injuries, so we'll see how things are going. But Jeff Jablonski's definitely gone for this period.
Well, we did say earlier in the game that Manchester Storm have had fewer injury problems than anybody else. They had their season wrecked right at the end last season by injury problems very late in the season, just before the playoffs. And they'll certainly hope that doesn't happen again. Just a little bit of argy-bargy, pushing and shoving. There's Paxton Schulte. He didn't pick that up, not even in the game, actually. He picked that up. Todd Kelman's stick did that in training the other day, so...
He probably beat Kelman up for that. He looks like a rough customer, doesn't he?
You could say that. I couldn't possibly comment.
Talked to him before the game, though. He's, you know, I've never talked to him before. He's quite a nice chap off the ice, as many of them are.
Very nice fella, Paxton Schulte. As long as he's on my side, it'll stay that way. It's 3-2 here to the Manchester Storm, but it's been quite a game. We had 4 goals in the first period. Manchester Storm are ahead for the second time in this match, and we're almost halfway through this game now. And Kurt Kleinendorst, if he thought it was going to be easy, I'm sure he didn't, but he certainly found out that Bracknell Bees don't ever give anybody an easy game.
Well, they don't, and they tire you out with their physical play. You know, they rarely turn away. When you pass the puck, you've always got to be in your face, and he takes you into the barrier. And so, you know, this is going to be a tiring game for the Storm. And I'll tell you what, after 2 nights against these guys in a row, they're going to certainly have some ice bags on their bodies.
And then on Saturday, they've got an important Challenge Cup semi-final, first leg against the Sheffield Steelers. Pass coming from the Bracknell Bees, right across that slot area. They really are chasing that goal. They want 4th spot in the league because it should give them a better playoff berth. That's what the plan is, that's what the theory is, and that's what they're trying to do by being very competitive in this game. This is Chris Brandt. Closed down by Miller. Bracknell Bees cycling it well in that corner. Miller helping it into the corner, and then he'll go off for the line change. Bracknell Bees. Well, that was good work by Rubachuk getting stuck in there behind the net, but Bracknell Bees do have possession and can come forward. Pass goes straight to Newmeyer, and that's a good long pass, picked up by Dave Morrison. Morrison couldn't get himself past Periccioli.
Well, the tempo of this game is heating up again, and there's a little bit of a lull there, but here they come again. This is one of the better games I've witnessed this year.
A couple of shots on Bruno Campese there. This is Newmeyer. Under pressure from Colin Ward. Got the puck up to Morrison, who's checked into the boards by Matt Cote. Kelman. Right around the rim. It's given away to Morrison there by PC Drouin. This is Morrison. Still Morrison trying to get the backhand shot away. Couldn't quite manage to get the real power on it that he would need to beat Bruno Campese, and the Bees are coming forward again with Ward. Colin Ward held up. It's end-to-end stuff. Checked by Stewart there on Richard Uniacke. And Frank Pietrangelo covers up. We'll go back down once again. In fact, there's plenty of people getting stuck in here around the edge of Frankie Pietrangelo's crease. And I wonder if Mike Rowe will let this one go, because we had a little set to earlier on, which he decided he could just get away with talking to the players and getting them to calm down. Maybe this time he will have spotted something that he can actually call an infringement for. That's Pietrangelo totally oblivious of the whole thing, doesn't really care.
Looks like he's going to make some type of call here, Mr. Rowe.
Well, he's called the penalties on Colin Ward and Troy Newmeyer.
This game is certainly heating up, isn't it?
Wait. 2 minutes each to call on Colin Ward and Troy Newmeyer. That means that we're going to be playing 4-on-4 hockey, because it wasn't the 2+2 which would have left us with 5-on-5 play because of the coincidental penalties. It's going to be 4-on-4, and the face-off will be just outside the zone. There's Troy Newmeyer, who had that set to there with Colin Ward, who also gets 2 minutes for roughing.
Well, that all comes about from Bracknell. They shoot the puck in on Pietrangelo, then they drive at the net for the rebound, and the Manchester Storm defenseman held his ground. And and a little bit of pushing and shoving then after the whistle.
Duncan with the shot, just slightly off target, picked up by Rob Robinson. Yeah, Allard trying to get all the way through himself there, but Bracknell Bees come forward. Acres of space out there once again. You can just see so much room when they're playing 4-on-4 in this ice rink. PC drew in. Stewart. The shot goes high into the crowd. A chance for us to get the latest medical update. Let's go down ringside and join Nick Rothwell.
Guys, just to let you know about Stefan Kettler, I mentioned that he had that sore shoulder and he was getting some ice on it, but he's actually had to go off now. He had a doctor looking at him, and he's gone off. He's got an ice pack on it, and the doc's bringing him off. He's locked him in a room, and he's going to treat him. But there's, and also, as I mentioned, Jonathan Weaver, he's got an ice pack on him, but he's staying on the bench, and he's trying to skate it off. We'll see. I'll give you more news on Jonathan after he skates off this shift and see how he does.
He'll be playing his 100th game tomorrow in Super League, providing he can come through this one okay with no ill effects. I'm starting to think that Manchester Storm perhaps broke a mirror in their dressing room before this game. They're picking up plenty of injuries in it, that's for sure. 3-2 up though, this is Chris Miller. Brabant, 2 goals already in this game. Takes a lot to injure Rick Brabant, drops it for Weaver, who is carrying that little knock. Back to Brabant once again in the corner. Being held up there by Todd Kelman. Still Brabant go. Remember, it's 4-on-4 out there. Plenty of extra space. Bracknell Bees coming forward. What can they do? What can they do with that extra room? This is Ferriccioli losing out to Jonathan Weaver.
You know, the injuries, Steve, that the Manchester suffered here, this is, you know, you look at their bench, that's the shortest I've ever seen Manchester's bench this year. And I really think that it's going to have an effect on this game. They've lost Jablonski now, Askew. They're saying Weaver's got a little bit of a problem. Katola's gone into the dressing room. They're certainly going to be tested now.
Well, Jablonski and Katola play on the first line, but then you've got Askew and Weaver from one of the other 2 lines, so it's really just difficult, I suppose, because it's upsetting everybody's line. It's upsetting all the rhythm, I suppose.
They've essentially lost a line here. Now, you look at their bench, and they've got most of those guys on the bench are defensemen. They're running out of forwards here.
Morin with the shot, it's saved. We've got 7 minutes to go in this period. We've had 5 goals so far. These are the goals. The first one was scored by Mike Morin after 1 minute 40 seconds. But the Bracknell Bees came back, and how? Chris Brandt with the first, 1-1. Then from McCosh's shot, a touch by Jeff Johnston, 2-1. Before the end of the first period, though, Rick Brabant scored the first of 2 goals for him. Great goal, that one. And Rick Brabant again. Wasn't going to be denied. Another excellent effort from the veteran. And that's why it stands at Storm 3, Bees 2, with 6:52 left on the second period. And I can tell you that Stefan Kettler will take no further part in this game. Stefan Kettler has gone to the dressing room and will be changing. Blair Scott got a big hit there from Denis Chassé. This is Mike Morin, who got the first goal of the evening for us. Time is almost up on those 2 penalties. Just a couple of seconds left. And so now we're going to go back to 5 and 5 as Newmeyer and Ward both come back out onto the ice. Colin Ward and Troy Newmeyer had a set to just a couple of minutes ago. And there's another penalty here. It's a holding the stick call. And I think there might be a misconduct call coming up here as well.
I think Chassé here, although Rubichuk gave him a whack, he grabs his stick and yanks it out of his hand. You'll see it. He holds onto the stick, and Mr. Rowe is right on the spot. There, he's got his stick, and he pulls it. Rowe's arm goes up, holding the stick. And he did the foolish move of arguing with the referee, and which never pays off. And now he's got himself on misconduct as well.
So he's picked himself up 2-minute minor. His team will be on the penalty kill for the next 2 minutes. And he's also picked himself up a 10-minute misconduct penalty. Paxton Schulte has gone in to serve that one. And Dave Whistle knows that the next few minutes could be very, very testing for his side. Trailing 3-2, and in this rink you don't really want to fall too far behind the Manchester Storm because they give up so few goals. Power play for the Manchester Storm. Their second opportunity this evening.
You know, it's one thing, you rarely see Manchester take a penalty like that. Kirk Kleinendorf does not put up with his players lipping off or saying things to the referee, and it was probably a lesson to the rest of us Super League clubs to keep our mouths shut.
Well, it doesn't make sense, but in the heat of the moment, it's so easy to do. .1:15 left on the power play as the puck is frozen. It remains 3-2. Just to confirm the penalties, 2 minutes plus 10 minutes for Denis Chassé. And that means that Paxton Schulte is in there serving the extra penalty, because after 2 minutes he can come back on and it will be back to even strength. Denis Chassé, though, will have to sit out the remainder of his personal penalty, but Bracknell Bees won't be short-handed in that spell.
Well, that's a big loss for Bracknell as well. You know, Chassé is an excellent player for them, and he's just starting to play up to the expectations that these have had of him, and lose him for 10 minutes is a real knock against him.
Rubachuk in that corner has plenty of options. Back to Blair Scott, now picked up by Rick Brabant on the boards once again. Shot right across the crease. Mike Morin was hoping it might come to him. It is Matt Cote. Neil Brimmett tries to get it out of the zone, but didn't hit it cleanly enough around the boards. Morin getting it back to Rick Brabant. Scott and Miller on the blue line. They've got Rubachuk right in front of the net. Morin back to Brabant. Back now to the blue line. Blair Scott winds up the big shot, and Mike Morin gets the second attempt in. Bracknell holding firm at the moment. Time ticking away. Less than 30 seconds left on this power play, as both sides now go for a change of lines to see what they can do. Richard Uniacke's out there. Rick Brabant is still out there, actually. This is Richard Uniacke, gets the shot away. Brabant now will leave the ice as well, as the Bracknell Bees look to have killed off this penalty, the third power play of the evening for the Manchester Storm, and no goals so far on this power play. Power play is over. This is Morrison, though. Dave Morrison still coming forward. Offside call there, that must have been close, but the linesman spotted it. And Dave Morrison with that full visor because of his injuries, and there's a few black eyes around on this game.
Manchester's power play, you can tell they're missing the players that are injured. I mean, they didn't look quite as well organized there. They got a couple shots away, but Brabant, you know, is the quarterback out there. He seems to make things happen, but when he wasn't out there, they didn't seem to be able to generate any type of offense. But with Askew, Katola missing as well, those are two key forwards on their power play.
Dave Morrison, the captain, in his second season in Manchester Storm colours. Shot from Blair Scott. No real pressure here on McCosh. Hurley, though, gave him a little check after the puck had gone. This is Richard Uniacke. Uniacke out to Hurley, got the shot away, and it was saved by Bruno Campisi.
With those injuries to the Storm forwards, Morrison is probably being forced to play more than they really wanted him to with that surgery he's recently had. Uniacke, recently come over from Sheffield, doesn't usually get this much ice time, and Hurley certainly doesn't either. So some of the players in the Storm not used to a lot of ice time are certainly being forced into it tonight.
It's their opportunity. Darren Hurley, another one of those players who came here from Basingstoke. Started his career with the Detroit Junior Red Wings, never made it in the NHL. Came over here and is playing his 99th Super League game for the Manchester Storm, or for Manchester and Basingstoke. This is McCosh. He dumps it in, and then Bracknell will chase it in and see what they can get. They can't get the puck. So Manchester come forward, but the pass goes astray. McCosh. This is Colin Ward. And Bracknell Bees really do need to take advantage of the injuries that the Manchester Storm are suffering, especially since we may see one or two of the players coming back later in the game. Not Stefan Katola, but they now need to take advantage of it Don't forget, they are missing Denny Chassé, though, sitting out a 10-minute misconduct penalty. This is Junkin. Junkin with the shot, seen all the way by Peter Angelo and caught comfortably by the man who has a Stanley Cup ring, and he has plenty of experience, Frank Pietrangelo.
Well, they take the, they take the long shot here, but Pietrangelo, you're not going to score on him with this shot. It's that's like picking cherries for him. He covers up nicely, and he just likes to. One thing about Pietrangelo, he always freezes the puck. He doesn't play the puck very often. He won't set it down and pass it to someone. He likes to get the face-offs. He's confident in his centerman, and he probably causes more delays than anyone out here.
Tomlinson against Ferriccioli. Wasn't won cleanly, but it came back on the Manchester side. Now they can break forward with Mike Morin. So 3-on-3 breakout here. Morin will go into the corner. Brandt was holding up Tomlinson. Todd Kelman's not allowing Mike Morin to get away with that, though. It's frozen, and we're going to have the face-off in that zone.
You see the Storm are changing their forwards very quickly now. They're not used to having so few forwards on their bench. So here Brabant is back out on the ice again. He seems to never come on.
Rick Brabant, who was the Player of the Year way back in 1991, which seems a lifetime ago now, but Manchester Storm, they're leading by 3-2. They're certainly not having a comfortable time in this game. They've got another game to come against Bracknell tomorrow. There's Hoffman just getting the touch for the icing. We'll go back down to the other end, just going through a quiet spell at the moment. Kirk Kleinendorst will be happy his side is in the lead, but he's got a lot of thinking to do to work out how he's going to play the rest of this game, I suppose.
Well, they're going to have to just take short shifts and, really concentrate on doing the basics. They have the 1-goal lead, which is a real bonus for them, because if they were down now and then we're lost all this firepower, they'd be in trouble.
Hoffman, shot coming in from Miller, taken by Campisi. Good save by Campisi. Bruno Campisi was missing last weekend for the Bracknell Bees, having a few games playing for Italy in the Swiss Cup. He played in the first game, which they lost to Switzerland by 8-3. They then won the second game against Slovakia when he didn't play. And then after conceding a few goals against Germany, the other netminder came off after the first period, and he played the remaining 2 periods of the game, which was also a defeat against Germany. And he found the whole, well, he's very experienced. He didn't find it too difficult to cope with being thrown off his stride. This is a chance now for Rubachuk, but he was telling me earlier on that didn't exactly come at the ideal time with the playoffs looming in this country. This is Ferriccioli. Ferriccioli just passing it to Chris Brandt. Brandt with the shot. And that's Rick Brabant getting stuck in doing his defensive duties. He's not the biggest of players, but he's a very strong player, Rick Brabant, and a very determined one too, as he comes forward and plays it wide to Chris Miller. Miller tried to pass it back to Weaver, taken away from him by Johnson. This is Chris Brandt now for the Bracknell Bees, moving forward quickly. Good transition. Just a fake on the shot there from Ferriccioli. And Brabant sends it back down the other way. Rubachuk. Ferriccioli passing into Brandt. Brandt, Paxton Schulte is out there now with Brandt and Ferriccioli, and Rubachuk getting stuck in there. That's holding the stick if ever I saw it, but the referee happy to allow that one to go. Schulte for Nemirovsky. Haven't seen a great deal from the Russian this evening. Stewart, who of course got 1 assist in this game on the first goal, Mike Nemirovsky. And that's an offside call there. 1:15 left on the period. It has gone a little quiet. Certainly not the fireworks we saw in the first period. It's Manchester 3, Bracknell 2.
Well, Manchester have adjusted their style, and losing the speed that they have with those injuries has changed the whole tempo of this game. With Askew driving wide and Katola, Jablonski, these type of players out of their lineup, they've adjusted their game. They're playing a little bit more defensive. Their mind is winning this Super League, and they're going to do it however way they can do it. It's
not what Kirk Kleinendorst wanted ahead of 3 games in 3 days. Another one with Bracknell, and then a cup game against the Sheffield Steelers to come on Saturday. And with the run-in they've got after the game tomorrow, they've got 4 away games in their quest to get the Super League title back here. Is it coming out of that corner? It is. We're into the final minute now of the second period. La Scala still can't get the puck where he wants it to go, and eventually it's Manchester Storm who will bring it away. Rob Robinson just checking, turning it around the boards, looking for Allard or Tomlinson. It's shot back in there by the Bracknell Bees. That's La Scala. La Scala got the shot away. This now is Nemirovsky. Greg Burke will go back down to the other end. Is that an icing coming up? No. Morin. Is there a chance for Manchester just to up their lead? Maybe Bracknell will just get themselves back on level terms before the end of this period. Time is running out into the final 10 seconds. No call there either. Gloves and helmets going down, and the clock ticking down as well. And now Mike Rowe has called something because there's still a little bit of pushing and shoving going on. Paxton Schulte out there with Troy Neumeyer. They're just being separated by the linesmen, and Frank La Scala's not happy. He was the player that lost his helmet earlier on in all that melee.
Well, those are two very big boys arguing there, Robson and La Scala. They're not asking each other out for dinner or anything either right now.
Paxton Schulte is going to go for 2 minutes of roughing. And we're also going to have Troy Neumeyer going off as well, I think. I'm sure I heard that call from the referee, but Paxton Schulte is the only one at the moment who's sitting on the bench. There's Paxton Schulte. That's the furthest away from the camera. You can see there Paxton Schulte. He got roughing. So Paxton Schulte is going to go for 2 minutes for the roughing call. And he's also got 2 minutes for slashing, I think, and we're also going to have Neumeyer going for 2 minutes for roughing. So it is going to be a power play for the Manchester Storm.
Well, it would appear Peter Angelo and La Scala are having words as well. And Frankie's just sitting calmly. He knows that his players will protect him if anything happens, so he's probably said a few things to La Scala, hoping to get under his skin a little bit.
Peter Angelo's no stranger to penalty minutes himself. He's picked up 30 penalty minutes altogether. There's Troy Neumeyer, who's got the 2 minutes for roughing. And after all of that, we are left anyway with 5 on 4, but we've got just a second left to go in the game. So it's basically going to be starting the third period, Manchester leading by 3-2 and with a power play as well.
I can see La Scala still having words with Peter Angelo. I think Peter Angelo, oh, there's Peter Angelo waving back at him. I don't know. If I was Peter Angelo, I would probably keep it quiet because I don't like his chances in that battle.
There's the view that Peter Angelo has of the whole ice. One out of his net. That's the end of the period, and there's more going on here. It certainly has boiled over. It wasn't anywhere near as good a period as the first. But at the end there, it's all got a little bit heated with the goal. Just one goal in it. And Mike Rowe just needs to calm everybody down, and thankfully they're all going to do that because they're going to spend 10-15 minutes sat in the locker rooms. That's, of course, once Mike Rowe can get them all off the ice.
I don't think he'll ever get the Zamboni out here now.
Well, there's an awful lot of arguing. It should be said that players should not talk to the referee except for the captain and the assistant captain. They should be the only ones speaking to him, but it's a bit of a free-for-all out there at the moment.
Well, Manchester is heading off the ice now, which is a smart move. I don't imagine Bracknell want to stay out here by themselves.
Don't forget, Denis Chassé is serving another 3 or 4 minutes of a misconduct penalty as well. And the injuries to the Manchester bench, it's going to be an interesting third period. There is the assistant captain, Brad Rubachuk, for the Manchester Storm. Talking there to Mike Rowe, the captain, who's got his hands full in this game. Dave Whistle just trying to work out what comes ahead in the third period. We'll enjoy looking back at the second period with Mike Blaisdell's thoughts right after the break.
On Saturday night, another chance to see last weekend's big night of World Championship boxing, including Joe Calzaghe against Robin Reed and Oscar de la Hoya against Ike Quartey. Great fights, worth seeing again. Saturday fight night, Saturday from 9 o'clock, Sky Sports 1. Well, we saw a pulsating first period, an intense second period. Manchester Storm leading Bracknell by 3 goals to 2, out-shooting them still. That period in particular littered with penalty minutes. And Manchester ahead on the face-offs as well. Mike Blaisdell has joined me in the studio. As we say, a lot of penalty minutes racked up there. It was intense stuff, wasn't it, Mike?
Well, Bracknell are starting to try to assert their superiority and their physical attributes. They're starting to bang people around. Manchester, though, are so smart, and they're so Kurt's got them playing that style where they don't talk to the referees, they don't retaliate, and subsequently Bracknell could find themselves in penalty trouble if they're not careful. Yeah,
well, they got the important goal as well, Manchester. Rick Brabant, I should say, who you know quite well.
Yeah, he's one of the best players at coming out of the corners. You see how he keeps his feet moving now, and now he drives to the net. And he's also one of the players that has a great backhand shot. You know, I mean, a lot of players can shoot on their forehand, you know, with the curve, but he can snap the puck on the backhand as well as anyone. And he scores a lot of goals on the backhand, and it's one of those shots that the goalies are often not ready to stop.
With the injuries and the situation they're in now, are Manchester just going to have to try and survive and sit on this game?
Well, they've lost a lot of their offensive punch, and so I think what they're going to what they will probably do, thinking ahead as well. They have 3 games in 3 nights, so they can't go all out certainly. And they have a 1-goal lead. They're very good defensively. They have an excellent goaltender. I would think that they're going to be a little bit more cautious on their forecheck, and obviously they don't have the personnel to just freewheel out there. They've lost some of their best skaters.
Well, as you say, they have. Would you have expected Bracknell to take slightly more advantage from that situation, because they didn't really seem to press that much?
Well, Bracknell don't skate as well as Manchester, and so I thought Bracknell had a great first period, and some of their guys actually looked tired in the second period. Some of the Bracknell players, guys like Paxton Schulte, who's not a great skater. He has to get down in the corners, take the body, and that's what he's trying to do. But they don't skate overall as well as Manchester do. But this game now is anyone's, I feel, because they did lose those key players, Manchester, and Bracknell probably have as much bench strength now as Manchester.
So Manchester ahead in this one, but plenty more to come. Manchester coming off the back of a good win at the weekend as well. Let's catch up on all the action in Rink Roundup.
8,500 fans watch Manchester maintain their unbeaten home record against Ayr in the Superleague. It was Brad Rubichuk who opened the scoring after just 2 minutes, equaling Craig Woodcroft's record of 55 goals for the club. Midway through the second, Ayr found their equalizer, Alan Schuler lifting the puck over Peter Angelo for his 2nd goal in consecutive games against the Storm. But Manchester hit back within minutes, Jablonski striking on the power play to make it 2-1. And in the third, Jeff Tomlinson unleashed this beauty to send the Storm fans home happy. 3-1 to Manchester, and the 3rd win in a row. It started well for London in this battle in Sheffield. Eric Clinton put them 1-up in the first period. But Sheffield went on to crush the Knights with 7. 4 came in the second, and in the third, Tony Hand went 1-0, and Priestley did the damage to make it 5-1. This goal came courtesy of Ed Courtney with his 2nd in the Steelers' 6th with 5 minutes on the clock. And Wilson added another for a 7-1 victory. On Sunday, London let in another 7. This time, it was Ayr who racked them up. Former Knight Corey Lyons led the way in the first period. 2 more followed, then Hode got the 4th with this effort at the end of the first. London then swapped goaltenders, Mark Kavlin coming on to relieve Peter Aslan, but by then the game was all but over, although this great assist by Cooper set up Gatto, who fanned on the shot for London's 3rd. But it was a night for the Scots, and Lions grabbed the 7th of the evening. Cardiff's title hopes were dealt a massive blow when they lost to Nottingham. Thornton did put them one up early in frame 2. And it looked even better when Matulik rounded off a fine play to add number 2, 3 minutes later. But the second frame brought 2 Panthers goals as well. First Haddon found the top corner of Herlovsky's net for his 50th Super League goal. Then after some good work by Carpenter and Zakuski, 80 tied the game on the rebound. In the third, with the Devils failing to find the shots, the Panthers hit top gear. Jamie Leach lighting the lamp thanks to Kolsar and Weaver. And in the final minute, Leach found the empty net for his second, leaving Cardiff's coach Paul Heavey to reflect on what might have been.
Well, that defeat for Cardiff left them 4 points behind the leaders Manchester Storm, who have that game in hand as well. The Nottingham Panthers are up there in third place. Bracknell dropping down the table. Sheffield beating Ayr in overtime last night. And Mike Blaisdell, do you have to accept now, from a Nottingham point of view and in the league, that third place is about the best you can do?
You know, we're kind of stuck there. We've, unless we really turned it on and somehow Cardiff came off the rails and we could maybe snatch second, but there isn't a lot of pressure behind us either. We've been sort of stuck in this third for a while, and it's been difficult for us to motivate our guys on a few occasions. And I think it was clear when we lost to the Storm here 6-0. It was you know, maybe the guys thought that way.
You've had a lot of problems this season, haven't you, with injuries, and you've had a short bench for much of the season, it seems.
Yeah, well, I think we've got all our guys almost back now. Simon Hunt will probably be the only player that doesn't play this weekend, so we've got them back at the right time. We were very cautious with a few guys, which probably hurt our chances a little bit, but you know, we made sure that the Carpenters, the Leaches, and the Haddons, when they came back, they were 100%, and I think that was important for us. We've still got a chance to win a couple more trophies, or 2 more to add to our total of 1 with the Benson and Hedges. So it would be nice. We can still have a great year.
You've got to get past Cardiff, of course, in the Challenge Cup. I know you always enjoy games against Cardiff. Can we expect a few more fireworks this weekend, Mike?
Well, the two teams, I mean, I think it's a great rivalry, and it's exciting. They're always good games, and it seems that home ice doesn't mean anything. You know, they've beaten us every time in our rink. We've beaten them twice out of 3 in their rink, so this should be a very interesting tie. It
certainly is. So Nottingham involved in the Challenge Cup this weekend. So to Manchester. Let's catch up with the other fixtures in Go to a Game.
On Friday, it's Manchester Storm versus Bracknell Bees, Part 2 at the MEN Arena. On Saturday, the Secunda Super League's 2 bottom-place clubs are in action on the road. Newcastle hop over Hadrian's Wall to visit the Ayr Scottish Eagles, and the London Knights travel to Nottingham to try and tame the Panthers. The Challenge Cup's first semi-final has the Sheffield Steelers taking on the Manchester Storm in the first leg of this cross-Pennines duel. On Sunday, the second semi-final's first leg has a fierce rivalry between the Nottingham Panthers and the Cardiff Devil. That face-off is at 2 p.m. And in the Super League, the Newcastle River Kings and the Sheffield Steelers face off at the Telewest Arena at 6:30. On Wednesday, a couple of big games for you. The league's top 2 teams are in action on the road. The defending champs Ayr take on Manchester, and the Sheffield Steelers host the second-place Cardiff Devils at the House of Steel at 7:30. Then our next live game comes to you from the famous Nottingham Ice Stadium. The third-place Panthers take on the title-seeking Storm. There's confirmation. It's next Thursday at 7:30 on Sky Sports 3.
Well, we're certainly all looking forward to that. Some big games coming up. We're looking for a big finale here, though, as Manchester Storm and Bracknell Bees go into the third period. Certainly no one is going home at this stage. Just 1 goal between them. 3-2 the Storm lead. We're back with a third after this. Well, as we go into the last couple of weeks of the regular season, what a game we have for you next Thursday night, Sky Sports 3, 7:30. Nottingham Panthers against the Manchester Storm. Right now, of course, we're watching the Storm in action against the Bracknell Bees. It's proving to be a bruising encounter. Manchester just ahead at the moment. Let's get more news, though, ringside from Nick Rothwell.
Dominic, you know,
gauging from what the guys have been saying and what the attitude has been like down here at the Manchester side of things, is that this period is going to be huge for them, because they're carrying injuries that they haven't had to really deal with a lot of this year. They have had niggling injuries, but it's a real test of character here. This is what makes a championship squad, is that if they can really hold it together and make this third period really solid. Bracknell Bees are going to be tough.
Thanks, Nick. There you go. A vital period for the Manchester Storm and their hopes of winning the Super League title. Let's get back to the commentary box, to Mike Blaisdell and Steve James.
And we're going to start this third period of what's been an exciting and pulsating and absorbing and thrilling game so far, with Manchester ahead, but also on the power play as well, with Newmeyer sitting a penalty for the Manchester Storm, and 3 players on the Bracknell Bees bench as well. That's Troy Newmeyer, the assistant captain, and there Paxton Schulte, and also Mikhail Nemirovsky and Jenny Chassé, who's in the middle there and serving the 10-minute misconduct. A few minutes left on that. Nemirovsky's serving the minor for Paxton Schulte, who picked up 2+2 and all that melee at the end of the last period. And Manchester Storm have a chance now to get real daylight between themselves and the Bracknell Bees. The Bracknell Bees certainly won't be making things easy by any means for the Manchester Storm in this third period. And don't forget, there's another game between the two to come tomorrow night. This is Miller. Miller with a shot. Plenty of traffic there, and that shot wasn't too far wide from Mike Morin either.
Well, Manchester will really want to get a goal here, Steve. They'll want to take that lead up to 4-2, and then they're quite capable of riding out a 2-goal lead in this building, with Peter Angelo playing so well this year.
This is Rick Brabant, who's already got himself a couple of goals in this game. Still Rick Brabant. 2 very good goals they were too. This is back to Miller, point, and Weaver almost got a touch there. The puck is high, it'll drop in the slot area. It's not dealt with particularly well. Campese will have to be alert here. Just uses the stick to flick it into the corner. Brabant. This is Brabant again inside the circle. Try to just get it back to Hoffman, who was caught out by the quickness of the pass there. Chris Brandt going into forecheck. Marco Steyn clearing the zone. This is Weaver. Held up on the blue line by Shane McCosh. Brandt loses out to Rick Brabant. Marco Steyn got his first goal for the Manchester Storm last week. Dumps it in on this occasion. Shane McCosh, plenty of time. 35 seconds left on the power play. Time is ticking away.
Well, you wouldn't expect to see Morrison out there on the power play for Manchester, but there he is, obviously with those players missing.
In fact, the clock here to the arena gone wrong there. It was, of course, up as soon as 2 minutes of play had elapsed. Mike Nemirovsky comes back onto the ice. Paxton Schulte still has got another couple of minutes to serve. But we're back to 5-on-5, the penalty killed. PC Drouin. The French-Canadian. Getting it to Junkin, who uses his skates to get it towards Nemirovsky. Picked out Drouin, that's a good pass, Drouin. That was a good effort at the attempt to beat Peter Angelo down low, but Frankie P was up to that one. Dale Junkin. Junkin with a shot. No problem for Peter Angelo this time either. There's PC Drouin trying to get it as it comes off the boards. Kenny Chassé's not far away from coming onto the ice either. As soon as we get a break in play, as Manchester come forward there with Tomlinson trying to get it past Campese.
That line that Dave Whistle had out there, that last shift, he had Nemirovsky, the Russian, with Junkin and PC Drouin. There's a lot of offensive capability on that line. And obviously with the players in the penalty box for Whistle has also had to adjust his lines, as well as Kleinendorf with his injury problems.
He'll be very pleased to have Denny Chassé back in not too much longer's time in this game. 16:52 left on the game. Manchester 3, Bracknell 2. 4 goals in the first period, 1 in the second. And in this series of games this season between the two clubs, they haven't played each other in anything but Super League. The winning side in every game has scored 4 goals. So if that sticks to form, it could be 4-3, could be 4-2. Manchester lost the last one, that was in Bracknell 4-2, but they've won every other game. They've won the first 3 against Bracknell this season, but they all ended with the winner scoring 4. Kelman to Brandt. Brandt has Ferriccioli on his left-hand side, goes to shoot anyway, and it hit the pipe. Little ring around this arena to signify that he was very, very close there, Chris Brandt.
That was a tremendous shot from Chris Brandt. He comes down and he just snaps that puck right off the crossbar. He had Peter Angelo beat. Could have had a 3-all game here with any luck for Bracknell.
That's what Frank Pietrangelo saw as Chris Brandt came for him. And Frank Pietrangelo will tell you it doesn't matter, as he's got the inside of the pipes covered, not the outside.
Exactly. He knew exactly where that puck was going. He knew he'd hit the cross line.
Sten to Robinson. Has been a very integral part of their success this year, Pietrangelo. This is Weaver. Weaver brought down by Kelman. The referee quite happy to let that one go. This is Cote now around the boards. Bracknell Bees looking to get forward. They're a goal behind. 47 is Ferriccioli. Todd Kelman has jumped up the defenseman. Oh, plenty of Bracknell Bees getting forward there. The shot that wasn't on target, but they still can pick up possession. Sten on Ward. Ferriccioli back to Colin Ward, who's still going. Colin Ward eventually losing out. This is Brad Rubachuk from Manchester, who clears the zone, but Chris Brandt back on his own blue line has possession of the puck for Bracknell Bees. Lascala's on the ice out there now.
Yeah, Lascala's back, which is adding to their bench strength. Bracknell is starting to play well here. They're getting some good scoring opportunities. This game is far from over, Steve.
In that corner, Morrison helping it around. Manchester having a bit of pressure here. Shot coming in. Campese not too worried with that one. This is Mike Nemirovsky, the Canadian-Russian, born in Moscow, but raised and learned his hockey in North America. This is McCosh now. McCosh, the defenseman, gets it in towards the net. It's behind and picked up in the corner once again, and Bracknell tried to get it back to the point, but Manchester Storm able to clear the zone and come forward. That's Lascala.
Both teams taking very short, quick shifts here and giving their players a little bit of a break.
An interesting time. The two coaches, an integral part of the way the game's going at this moment. This is Blair Scott. Almost a bit like a chess match at the moment. Very physical one, it must be said. This is Greg Burke, touch for icing. We've had some big hits in this game. There's Jonathan Weaver, who's felt one of them.
Yeah, he's not a big kid, you know. I mean, he's about a little bit over 12 stone, and he tends to get knocked around a little bit, but he keeps coming back, and you know, I think he's got a great future. You know, everyone talks about Weaver and all the skills he possesses. Kurt Kleinhurst, I know, would like to see him be, you know, probably get a little bit stronger, and he probably would hope he gets into the gym this summer and gets a little bit bigger and stronger. But he's a very, very skilled hockey player and very smart player out there.
Miller. Manchester Storm, remember, have picked up several injuries in this game and are having to work out with a short bench because of that for the remainder of this game. Katola, one of the players that's had problems. Jablonski too. Bracknell Bees at full strength for this game. They, of course, have less total numerical strength anyway coming into this game than the Manchester Storm, but very much even now in that respect. This is Miller. And again, the game just a little quiet at the moment. It's always likely to be intense. Colin Ward lost his stick there. There's a couple of loose sticks on the far side of the rink, in fact. Just out of your picture. This is PC Drouin. Good skater, PC Drouin. Showing off his skills there, rather. Not getting very far. Eventually giving the puck away, but Todd Kelman will have plenty of time now for the Bracknell Bees. It's given it away. This is Rupert Brandt. Can he really still man of the match for himself? Almost, not quite. It's all over the place around there. Bruno Campesi making sure by sitting on the puck that he wasn't going to get beaten.
Well, Bracknell made a couple mental mistakes in their own zone, and it nearly cost them here. Rabat stole the puck from him, and out he comes for the wraparound. There's Rubachuk, always parked to the side of that. You always know where Rubachuk is. He's in front of your goalie, and he's always digging in to get some of those garbage goals, as they talk about. And that's just those little loose pucks where it just comes in, you bang and hack it in. But there's Rubachuk there. He comes hard to the net. He's one of the Storm forwards that I'm always impressed with. He plays a real North American style. He gets right in front of the goalie and drives into that net. And he's one of the players that isn't really a finesse player for Manchester. And he's looking for one goal to be the all-time leading goal scorer for the Manchester Storm, having surpassed or having equal Craig Woodcroft's 55 goals. He needs one more to surpass it. Chris Brandt, the Bracknell Bees. He dumps it in. Chassé, having completed his misconduct penalty, chasing it in there. This is Bericcioli. It's very much Bracknell Bees' most productive line. Marco Sten, can he bring it away? He can, but he'll get Denis Chassé with a check that didn't quite make full contact. Otherwise, I think Marco Sten really would have felt that one. Chassé was trying to make him another poster on the barrier, I think.
Dumped in again. Bracknell chasing it in once more with Denis Chassé. Well rested after that 10-minute misconduct either side of the break, so he's had half an hour almost to sit down. This is Shane McCosh. Touch for the icing as it came round the boards to him. We'll go back to the other end for the face-off.
Bracknell have Manchester a little bit disorganized now. They got them running around in their own zone a little bit. A big, strong team, and they've now got the numbers thing is equalized here. We've got Manchester and Bracknell with about the same amount of skaters out there. So Manchester's early game advantage is now gone.
Kurt Kleinendorst, you can see Julie Trevor there as well, who's been very busy this evening, the physiotherapist. And Manchester Storm have plenty of work to do yet if they're to get 2 points of the 9 points that they need to win the title from 7 games remaining. There's a bit of pushing and shoving there with Hoffman and Paxton Schulte. He had a little pop at Paxton Schulte there, did Kevin Hoffman, which is only something you do if you're feeling very strong and very confident.
Well, Mike Rowe is probably the one referee in the league that will let all this go. Like there's probably a couple penalties there. A lot of refs would call it, but Mike, he likes to let things flow, as they say. And you can get away with a little more with Mike out there.
And if looks could kill, Paxton Schulte there giving a real long stare to Kevin Hoffman. There's Mike Rowe, who was officiating last night as well, with the same linesman team, in fact, in Sheffield, when Sheffield beat Ayr in overtime. Not a good result at all, that one, for the Bracknell Bees, because 2 points for Sheffield and 1 for Ayr. This is Bracknell Bees trying to get some points here. They're trailing 3-2 at the moment. Bracknell Bees very much up against Sheffield and Ayr for that crucial fourth spot when it comes down to the playoff shake-up. Long chase back here. Will it be the icing touch? Well, the netminder brought down by Rubachuk. Bracknell Bees coming forward, and the penalty has been called for Rubachuk's interference there on the netminder. And so he's going to pick up another 2 minutes, and back roughing has been the call. Rubachuk's not happy at all about that. He felt it was a fair challenge, but Rubachuk goes to sit down, and we're going to have a power play for the Bracknell Bees.
Well, Rubachuk's coming with speed here, and well, I don't know. They certainly collided. I'm not sure if the goalie really could have moved. The goalie, I think, thought Rubachuk might have. Campisi thought Rubachuk was going to run him clean over and brought his glove up into his face, but I think Rubachuk feels a little hard done by. So do the crowd here. Well, the referee was having a word with Dave Morrison, the captain for the Manchester Storm, and saying that he would do the same for Frankie Pietrangelo if the situation was the same. But certainly the netminder didn't make a huge effort to get out of Rubachuk's way there.
So yet another power play. We've had 6 power plays and we've yet to have a goal on any of them this evening. The shot coming in, Bracknell Bees with a good power play record of late, but not managed to score so far. This is their 3rd of the evening. Ward and Shorty out there around the net. Bees buzzing around that honey pot, waiting to get it. This is Drouin on the blue line. McCosh trying to get it back to the corner. Manchester Storm, though, in the shape of Rob Robinson, clear the puck down to the other end. And we've had 30 seconds of the power play already. PC Drouin skating at full speed. Just puts it into the slot area, but there's nobody there. The defence making sure that Colin Ward got nowhere near that one, and Frank Pietrangelo covering up.
Drouin really came up with speed there, but he's probably better off just trying to game the zone here. He's trying to beat everyone and try to score the goal himself, but you know, there's times like this they want to set up their power play, so it's best to just game the zone and then move it around. They were moving it around quite well right up to that point.
PC Drouin's got himself 8 goals so far this season. Played with Charlotte and Providence last year. Had 3 games for Boston earlier in his career in the NHL. Played for Boston Bruins.
I see Brabant is talking to Pietrangelo right now. All Brabant is doing is giving himself a little rest because he's just come off. He's playing a lot of hockey tonight, Rick Brabant.
Brabant up against Ferriccioli. And Brabant dived over the top of Ferriccioli to make sure he got the puck. And got it away and got it up to the other end. We've got just over a minute to go on this power play. This is Chris Brandt. I'm having problems with Brandt and Brabant out there tonight. Manchester Storm having to defend here. Certainly Bracknell having a few problems with Brabant. He's got 2 goals. This is Rob Robinson to Morin. Morin runs into 2 Bees players, though. This is Denis Chassé. Chassé to Ferriccioli, back to Rob Stewart. Cycling it well, trying to get it out. And Chassé gets the shot and gets it through the 5-hole. It's 3-3. The power play goal comes at last. The first power play of the evening. And with 10 minutes to go, it's 3-3.
Good work by the Bees along the wall here. They keep the puck in. They get out to Chassé. It just shows the old saying, shoot the puck, don't look, just fire it on net. You never know, it might go in. And that puck didn't have much room to go through there. You can see it just goes through his legs. Pietrangelo didn't even move, but I mean, he threaded the needle there, right through the legs.
Well, Denis Chassé is having himself quite a game this evening, because he's got a goal and an assist now. He's also picked up 16 minutes in penalties this evening as well, but he'll be quite happy. So too will Bracknell Bees, and I dare say so too will the Cardiff Devils. And Dave Whistle's side with 10 minutes to go, very much back in this game at 3-3, and Manchester Storm, who seem to have closed things down because of their injuries, now have to really take it up a gear again. Offside call there. And the face-off is going to be just outside that zone, the Bracknell zone. Bracknell Bees, they really do never give up in a game, do they, Mike?
No, they'll keep coming, and they got a lot of pride in the room, and they feel like they're on a roll now. I guess, they had those players that left them, and I think Dave Whistle has been quoted as saying that that he's glad they're gone. They might have been a cancer or whatever in the room. He's now got the 17 players that want to play for him, and they've turned things right around.
And if it ends up being Cardiff second, Manchester, Cardiff second, Nottingham third in the league. This is Bracknell Bees coming forward again. Paxton Schulte, still Schulte, just hooked away from him by Hoffman. That was a real opportunity, and suddenly Manchester coming forward. It's a 3-on-2 situation here for the Manchester Storm. Can they get back on it? Oh, Brabant was so close to his hat-trick goal. Now the Bracknell Bees breaking out. This is La Scala, needs some support, hasn't got it yet. Tried to play it back to the blue line, looking for Cote, who was coming up. This is Brabant chasing down for that net again as Rubachuk was held up. And good work by Todd Kelman, who's been so impressive in recent weeks. Really have been impressed in all the games we've seen of Todd Kelman on Sky Sports in the last month or so. Well, that was almost a chance as well. There's a bit of pushing and shoving behind the back of that net. Blair Scott and Frank La Scala. This is Pierre Alado bringing it forward for the Manchester Storm. Suddenly that goal has got everything going again. It's really picked up the tempo. It's 3-3 and everything to play for. Campese out of his net. Morin, who got the first goal of the game, had a chance maybe to get the last. I'm sure there will be another goal in this game, with 8.5 minutes, just a little over to go of this match.
Steve, the tempo of this game has just increased incredibly in the last minute or so. They've just opened things wide open. I mean, both teams are just going for the win.
Blair Scott's out there without a helmet on. His helmet there, you can see it just behind the back of Frankie Pietrangelo's net. They clear the zone. Blair Scott's still out there. He's not at his shift yet, still playing with his ginger hair showing. Bees coming forward. This is Ferruccioli. Ferruccioli gains the zone. PC Drouin coming through and Denis Chassé. Changed their lines a little bit, Bracknell Bees as well. This is PC Drouin playing now with Chassé and Ferruccioli out there. Less than 8 minutes to go. 3-3 in this game. Game 1 of 2 between these two sides in 24 hours, both in the MEN Arena. Bracknell Bees with a bit, there's a penalty being called here. There's going to be another power play. It's an interference call, a power play coming up for the Manchester Storm. And this could be a very significant moment as Rob Stewart takes a 2-minute minor.
Well, I think that was a good call by Mike Groh. It was looked like a definite penalty to me. There it was in the corner there. He really, Uniac did not have the puck, and Stewart kind of ragdolled him a little bit there and was off for 2 minutes. Important power play for the Storm.
5th power play coming up for the Manchester Storm. They haven't managed to score yet on the power play. We've had 1 power play goal so far. That was scored by Denis Chassé, equalising at 3-3. Kurt Kleinendorst, the Manchester Storm coach, thinking long and hard, knowing that this could be an excellent opportunity for his side to go on and take the 2 points so vital to their Super League title chase.
Well, there we see Brabant out again. I think he's probably played about 40 minutes so far tonight. You wonder what kind of batteries he's got in his body.
Whatever they are, I'd like some myself. 34-year-old, and he keeps going, and he's had his fair share of injuries down the years, and it takes an awful lot to keep him off the ice, that's for sure. This is Brabant. Off the balls to Hoffman. Hoffman, though, getting caught. The Bracknell Bees forecheck has got that bit more zip in it as well now as well. They have come to life with that goal, just as Manchester Storm have in response to it. On the power play. They haven't really worked that well on the power play, Manchester Storm, in this game. Not to the standards that we expect. No penalty called on that, as Chris Brandt went crashing down to the ice. It's quite a tussle, Brandt and Brabant out there. Still a minute to go on this power play as Tomlinson comes through the middle. Still Tomlinson to Allard. Pierre Allard gets the shot away. It's saved first time. Will it come back to Pierre Allard? And now Tomlinson. They can't beat Bruno Campisi. Campisi made 2 very good saves there. This is Rubachuk. The power play has 50 seconds to go, and there's a high sticks there, so we're going to go back down to the other end of the ice.
Yeah, all the talk about Pietrangelo, and the other Italian's not too bad himself. This guy, he made some great stops there. I think everyone in the building had their arms up thinking goal, but there he was. He was on the spot there, and that puck was just sitting there. That was a great opportunity for the Storm, but Campisi stood firm there.
5th game that they've played against Manchester Storm this season, and Bruno Campisi playing his 2nd against Manchester Storm. They've actually used 4 different netminders against Manchester Storm this year. The Bracknell Bees, they've used 6 altogether because of the various injury problems they had to Mark Bernard in the main, and also to Brian Greer before Bruno Campisi came along. At the other end, we're going to have a face-off because of the high sticks. We've gone back down to the other end, and Bracknell will be very pleased with that because there's 48 seconds still to go on the power play. Dale Junkin going in there against Mike Morin. An important face-off to win for the Manchester Storm because they've got possession back once more and an opportunity to come forward and try and get this 4th goal. Cote just doing a good covering job there as a defenseman. And they've got it out of the zone, crucial. Manchester are going to have to back off a little. 25 seconds left. Tomlinson giving it to Morin. Morin looking for Allard! Allard right out in front, couldn't turn it in the right direction. This is Tomlinson, though. More work. And Bracknell Bees have one man out of that box. That was Greg Burke, who was tied up in the corner.
Well, that was close, but, you know, Bracknell are doing a good job on this penalty kill now. They're not giving them the big shots from the point that Manchester would like to do. They're forcing them to work it down low, and nothing seems to be working for Manchester.
2 chances on that power play. Manchester Storm couldn't take any of them. So 3-3. Just 5.5 minutes to go in this game. And if it stays at 3-3 to the end of this game, we would go into overtime. That's Darren Hurley. It's 3-3 then, and during the course of that power play, Manchester did create a couple of chances. Just 2 though, and they couldn't beat Bruno Campese, who certainly is having a good evening again. It's going to be a face-off though, which is going to concern Frank Pietrangelo more on the Manchester Storm bench there. You can see looking on, waiting for the face-off to take place in their own zone. And Jonathan Weaver, who had a little injury earlier on, just talking there, explaining something to Kurt Kleinendorst.
Well, Kurt's always talking to his players, and you know, they're obviously concerned the way this game is going right now. Now that Bracknell has killed that penalty, you're going to see them come again. They're going to forecheck. They're going after this game. They're not sitting back. They're not playing for a tie. Bracknell, that's certainly evident.
Nobody's given Manchester as hard a game as this, I'm sure, here in the MEN Arena this season. They have such an impressive record. They lost to Cardiff, but that's the only one that they had lost after 18 straight wins in here. They've lost just 1 of 24 in the MEN Arena. This is Chassé turning it back in low. Darren Hurley picked it up. Chris Brandt collected his stick and now will chase in. Chassé turning and hitting the puck as he turned. This is Richard Uniacke. Todd Kalman for the Bracknell Bees. Inside the last 5 minutes, it's there for the taking. Whoever wants to get the winner. I said I expected more goals, and I did say that 4-3 would be a likely scoreline given the past track record this season between the 2 sides, and that very well could happen yet. This is Rick Brabant. Odds on him getting the winning goal and a hat-trick. Brabant again.
Well, these teams have played at a furious pace, and there's really no signs of them being tired yet. They're going to go for it right to the last 4 minutes. Fasten your seatbelts here.
And a very interesting game coming up between the 2 sides tomorrow here in the MEN Arena. If you're in the area and you'd like to come along and see ice hockey live. Good crowd turned up here this evening for the game, and I understand they're selling tickets quite well for tomorrow's game too. And then of course the important Sheffield Steelers clash for the Manchester Storm coming up as well in the Challenge Cup at the weekend.
I think it's kind of interesting to have the 2 teams playing each other back to back in the same building. You don't see that very often over here. You do see that in North America quite often with the large amount of travel in certain leagues, but very rarely you see that over here. But it's going to be interesting tomorrow. 3
games in a row. There we are, face-offs won. Manchester almost 50% or 100% better. It's almost 50% there, Bracknell's figure compared to Manchester's. That's quite significant.
Well, they're good on face-offs, and puck possession is so important in this game. But Bracknell are coming very strong here. You notice that whenever there's a Manchester player with a puck, he's got to be in his face. Like, look at this, here's Brandt on him, and right away they're forcing turnovers at all times.
I wonder how many of those face-offs have been won for Manchester by Rick Brabant this evening. This is Ferriccioli. Brandt turning, shooting across the edge of that crease. Stewart just cycles it back round the boards. This is now Ferriccioli being held up by Scott. Got it out in front, nobody there. And Manchester coming forward with a 3-man rush here. An opportunity as Allard goes for the net but was held up. Bracknell Bees picking up the puck, finding Chris Brandt. And now it's their turn to come forward. Brandt with Ferriccioli on the boards. This is Ferriccioli. Manchester coming forward again. very important. They have points to play with at the top of Super League because they're 4 points ahead of Cardiff with a game in hand. It wouldn't be a disaster if they didn't manage to get 2 points, and it must be said that when they haven't won, they have a good record of picking up points in overtime, Manchester Storm too, if it should go that far. With 2.5 minutes to go, it's looking like that could be a possibility. Sudden death overtime if there isn't a goal in the next 2.5 minutes of play. Manchester Storm, though, picking up possession, a turnover on the edge of the Bracknell zone. This is Rick Brabant again. So involved in everything that Manchester have done well this evening. This time they give the puck away. PC Drouin chasing Miller, won't get there. Hoffman picking out Rick Brabant once more. This is Weaver, still going Weaver. And Brabant couldn't quite get a hold of the puck either.
You know, you wonder how these teams are going to be able to keep this pace up into overtime if it does go into overtime. It's just up and down hockey.
Well, Bracknell don't have a good record in this building. They've only ever managed to get 1 point here before. And that was their very first ever visit way back in 1996. Since then, they've lost every time they've come into this building. Looks like they could well get a point out of this game at least, and who knows, they might win it yet. This is Chassé getting it back to the blue line. Shot coming in, and it's deflected, hits the plexiglass, stays in the rink. Some more big hits going in on the boards. And now a chance for Manchester Storm to come forward. A minute to go of the game. Richard Uniacke drives for the net. Puck didn't quite reach him. This is McCosh, having covered up on Richard Uniacke, bringing the puck forward and just dropping it there for Chassé. Chassé with a shot, not the best. Not that difficult for Peter Anslow to get out into that corner. And Manchester will come forward again. Seconds ticking away. 45 seconds and less. Manchester Storm, maybe there's one last chance for them to try and get a goal. Campisi deals with that one comfortably. Cote, sudden death overtime coming up. We saw Bracknell win in sudden death overtime at Sheffield on Sky Sports a couple of weeks ago. This is Robinson, inside the final 30 seconds of this game, 3-3. And the puck is out of the rink, and it's anxious moments. Coaches have one last chance, don't they, to talk to their players before the final 19 seconds.
Well, that's right. There's 21 seconds though, and it's still a face-off in the Manchester zone. I can see the nerves are starting to get to Kleinendorst here. This is a very nerve-wracking game, to say the least. It's up and down. There's a lot of big hits. He's had injuries. He's, you know, obviously they need this win, but in the back of his mind, he's also got a point now. If they can ride out this 21 seconds here, he gets another crucial point, which doesn't hurt their chances.
He looks as tense as I've ever seen him, actually, Kurt Kleinendorst there. He knows that the rewards are out there, not too far away, and he just wants to have a word with some of his players. Is he calling a timeout here because he's now going to just run through some notes with his players? How easy is it to get through to players at this stage of the game, Mike?
Well, with the crowd noise, I think sometimes it's a problem, but I mean, he's got his guys. The 5 guys that he's got out there are right surrounded around him, so he's probably... I think what he's probably telling them is, let's get the point for sure. Let's make sure. He's not thinking about scoring here off the break, although that would be a bonus. I think his concern now is to make sure they get that point. A point is vital to them now. They know they've got all these games coming up, and playing the same team again tomorrow night. You know, let's get a point tonight for sure, and then go for the win tomorrow. Still get 2 tonight.
True, they do need 9 points. That's the maximum that they would need to clinch the Super League title. The first major piece of silverware that would be to come into the MEN Arena. 9 points from 7 games, 1 tonight, and it would be down to 8. And with just a third of a minute remaining on this game, very important now this face-off will be. Junkin going in against Jeff Tomlinson, just outside that circle. Stewart and Cote back on the blue line for the Bracknell Bees. Manchester Storm come away with the puck. Well, that's what Kurt Kleinendorst wanted. They've got it in low. Rob Stewart back. Is there a chance for them to come forward? 12 seconds to go. This is PC Drouin. Looks like we're heading for overtime. just flicked in low. Not a difficult one for anybody to deal with, and the end of the third period comes up. And Kurt Kleindorf will be pleased with the point, but knows that his side need the 2. And Dave Whistle, I think, will be fairly pleased, actually, just to have come in here and got a draw against the Manchester Storm, because not many people would have given his side that chance before the game.
No, and I just, you know, getting back to Kurt Kleindorf, I realized that he said that there was a big point, a big point.
Let's go down and join Nick Rothwell ringside.
Yeah, guys, you know, just to basically reiterate on that, you've got to look at kind of what happens when teams go into overtime during the regular season. And both teams kind of tend to go into a defensive shell. They're happy with their point, and they don't want to give up that extra point. But in this case, you have 2 teams that are desperate for that extra point. The Manchester Storm definitely need it. Some fans here are pretty happy. And the Bracknell Bees also definitely need it. So you can see both teams here are probably going to look pretty offensive in this period of overtime.
6 goals in the 3 regular periods of this game, starting very early on with Stefan Katola setting up Mike Morin. 1-0 Manchester, but they were soon behind. Chris Brandt with the first. And Bracknell Bees then taking the lead with Jeff Johnston getting a touch in the slot. Rick Brabant, though, he's making a play for man of the match. That was his goal to tie it at 2-2. And early in the next period, he got another one, 3-2. And then in the third period, Bracknell Bees, a power play goal from Denis Chassé, 3-3, and that's why we're heading into overtime. And Manchester's record of overtime is fairly impressive. They've had 2 overtimes in this building this season. They won both of them. And Bracknell Bees' overtime record this season, they've had plenty of goals. They've actually had 7 overtimes this season, and they've won a couple of them away from home. They've also lost 2 away from home and drawn 1 away from home. And at this stage, Mike, what do you tell your players? You've got a point anyway. You might as well go for the goal, mightn't you?
Well, these 2 teams, especially, if you look at the situations they're in, Manchester does not care if Bracknell gets a point off them, really. Bracknell doesn't care if Manchester get a point off them. They both just want that point. So we're going to see some wide open hockey here. This could get very hairy.
Last night's overtime lasted just a few seconds, just 30 seconds before it ended, with Sheffield beating Ayr by 4-3. How long is this one going to last? It could go the full 10 minutes and still be a draw. Mike Morin gets the shot on Bruno Campese. Anytime somebody scores, that's the game over. They're the winners. Brandt with the shot off target. You can expect fireworks in this overtime period, and this is Bracknell Bees. McCosh. And Bracknell working the puck around inside that Manchester zone. Cycle back to Ferraccioli. Ferraccioli right out in front. There was nobody there. Will they keep it in the zone? They do. Chassé. Brandt just putting it in that area once again. See what they can get out of it as McCosh turns it around once more. So Chassé, and Brandt was coming in late and got the shot on target, but it was blocked by the netminder.
You notice there's caution to the wind by Bracknell. They had 4 guys right in front of Manchester's net there.
Manchester, they really do need those points. They would love to have them. But Bracknell Bees, such a hard-working side. They've got a point as their reward for this game. And it's going to be very interesting to watch the game between the 2 sides tomorrow. Turn back around. It's all Bracknell Bees pressure at the moment at the start of this overtime period. We've had more than a minute and a half, and most of it has been spent inside that Manchester zone. Now they get a chance to clear up to Rick Brabant. Brabant just dropping it for Miller, and now it's back to Brabant. Brabant makes the first shot, got the second shot away, and Campese covering up and have a face-off just to the right of his zone, of his net.
Well, these players will be home and in their beds early tonight. I think they're, you know, you look at them going off the ice here. You watch the Manchester Storm players. They're feeling this a bit, and I'll tell you, in 2 days' time, they're really going to feel it in Sheffield. There's a shot by Brabant, and Campese covers it up nicely. But you know, they say in overtime, just shoot the puck, shoot the puck. Rick Brabant knows he's an old veteran. Just get the puck on net. You never know when it'll go in.
Rob Robinson tried, couldn't get it through. With the injuries they've picked up tonight, it's not good at all for Manchester Storm at this crucial point of the season, with 3 games in 3 days. This is the first of those, and 4 road trips to come as well. Bracknell getting it back up. La Scala trying to dig it out there. Nemorski in there as well, trying to get the puck out for the Bracknell Bees, but they're not getting past Richard Uniacke. Manchester Storm shooting the puck again. At 2.5 minutes. No goals so far in this overtime, clearly, because we're still playing and not that close to goals, really. Chris Brandt perhaps the closest with that effort from short range, which was saved by the netminder, Frank Pietrangelo. Pietrangelo just fielding the puck there. And Manchester with Troy Newmeyer picking out Weaver. This is Jonathan Weaver, still Weaver. Drops it off here, and Rubachuk gets the shot away. Picked up by Chassé. 3 minutes of overtime gone. Rubachuk with a shot. That's a great save in overtime by Bruno Campisi. Back to Rubachuk again. Gets it out in front. Oh! The puck goes in the end. It's Manchester Storm who somehow managed to get the goal. And they're absolutely delighted they got the 2 points. That could be so crucial in the run-in. Bruno Campisi just couldn't get it out. Bruno Campisi beaten there in close range. The puck was bouncing around. And disappointment for Bruno Campisi. He thinks that it shouldn't have been a goal because the net came off the moorings. And so he's not at all happy. You can see it again here. As Rubachuk fires the puck in, comes off the skate, and the puck is in. Well, he's in the crease too there as well. And that's why they're still arguing. But Blair Scott is certainly being credited with the goal. There's the puck going in. The puck went into the zone first. He follows it up. Interference maybe on the netminder. Pushed the net off its moorings. Whatever, the goal stands. And Bracknell Bees have to settle for just the 1 point. Blair Scott gets the winning goal. Campisi clearly not happy there, but you can't stop the joy of Blair Scott and the Manchester Storm because they're 2 points closer to the Super League title. Manchester Storm are now just 7 points maximum away from winning the Super League title in succession to Cardiff and to Ayr, who won it last year. And we can go down and hear from the winning coach. Kurt Clennendorst is with Nick Rothwell.
Kurt, 2 points is 2 points, right?
Yeah, that's winning ugly. I mean, we didn't play well tonight, but we got the job done, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
It's going to be a bit of controversy. I mean, you could talk about that goal maybe there, or the call on Brad Rubachuk earlier, but you'll take it, I'm sure.
Well, I think he probably felt like he owed us one after that power play goal that they scored and the call that he made. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm sure Blazer's sitting up there. He can tell everybody what happened.
You had to deal with a lot of injuries tonight as well, Kurt.
Well, we did. I think we ended up losing 4 guys, 4 key guys, and so all the more reason to be happy with the 2 points. I mean, we had a short bench and we got it done.
Your physiotherapist was probably more busy than you were, just working around and making sure everyone was healthy.
And she's going to be busier yet tomorrow. None of them are serious. Don't know that they'll be back tomorrow, but they will be back soon.
Thanks a lot, Kurt.
Thanks.
Well, it was an exciting game, and Manchester Storm have won it. I told you they have a very good record. They got off to a good start with Mike Morin scoring the first goal, but they soon found themselves behind. Chris Brandt with the equaliser. And then another goal, Jeff Johnston with the second. That made it 2-1. It was 2-2, though, for the end of the first period. There's Rick Brabant making it 3-2. And then Denny Chassé with a power play goal who made it 3-3. And then it went into overtime, and there's Blair Scott. Good goal, bad goal, it was given, and it's the winner. So it's finished, Manchester Storm 4, Bracknell Bees 3 after overtime.
Well, there's the player of the game, Rick Brabant. What a game he had, a couple of goals. What a dramatic finale to that game. The overtime goal Hotly disputed, of course, by the Bracknell Bees, and we'll get the thoughts of Mike Blaisdell in just a moment on that. But the crucial thing is, of course, Mike, that it's 2 points for Manchester Storm. That's the big thing, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it was a great hockey game, but, you know, Manchester, they had a great chance just before that. Rubicek almost scored, and then when the puck finally did get in, I'm not so sure if it should have been allowed, but it was allowed, and it's a goal. But he drove to the net. He was in the crease when he put it in. Whether he kicked it in or not, I couldn't really tell myself, and I'm sure Mr. Rowe couldn't tell either. But it's now done and dusted. They got their 2 points.
There's a quick look at the match facts for you. Manchester out shooting Bracknell throughout that game. Plenty of penalty minutes. Let's hear from Rick Brabant, the player of the game. He's talking to Nick.
Congratulations, Rick, but you logged a heck of a lot of ice time tonight.
Yeah, it was a tough game. We lost a few players. I think we lost 3 of our forwards early on, and it was up to the rest of the boys to pick it up, and we did it tonight. We got a vital 2 points.
Were you shocked a little bit the way Bracknell Bees came out? They came out pretty hard.
No, if you look at their results as of late, they've been playing really well, and they come out, they give 100%, an honest effort, and they played well as a team, and we had to play well to beat them.
Your backs were definitely against the wall. It wasn't 2 points that were just given to you. You had to fight pretty hard for it. That's a sign of a championship team, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It seems like there's no easy games these days. Every team we meet wants to beat us, maybe knock us off the perch and put us behind the 8 ball, but we keep coming up with the wins, and a few more, and we can relax a bit.
It's not going to be a cakewalk tomorrow, is it?
No, it's not. It's going to be another tough game. Got to go home, drink a lot of water, and go to bed.
Thanks a lot, Rick.
Thank you.
Well, sentiments that you were talking about right throughout that third period, certainly. Great result for them, but they've got a tough 2 days now, haven't they?
Well, they've got the rest of their season is going to be tough, you know, and Kurt was saying that those injuries were not long-term, and let's hope for their sake they're not, because you can see the difference in the Storm team when they do lose a few key players, and you know, they haven't had that mishap yet this year, and all of a sudden take 3 key forwards out of their lineup, they become a fairly average club.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at that final goal, the one that settled it. Controversial stuff, and Mike, your thoughts on this then?
Well, they get a good shot before that, but he does kick the. Oh no, he put it in with a stick, and I think it's a goal. Like he drove to the net.
Campese was complaining that perhaps there was some interference there, perhaps that the net got pushed off the moorings.
Well, he drove right into the goalie. It's a tough call. I mean, you know, it's been a tough physical game all night. So if he doesn't allow that goal, he's allowed so much else to happen. I mean, he puts it. That's a goal. That's a goal. He puts the puck in with his stick. He drove into the goalie, but that's hockey. He's the one who put the puck in the net, so he can go into the crease.
Yeah, and I thought during that third period, when Dennis Chassé came back into the fray after taking his penalty minutes, that Bracknell was certainly in the ascendancy.
Yeah, they you know what's nice? I think it's great that Bracknell came in. A lot of teams, okay, Bracknell's not going to win the Superleague. They maybe should concentrate on the playoffs, but they came in here and they played it like it was a playoff game. They didn't let Manchester off the hook easy, and they came in and they played hard, and it's a credit to them all night. They played like it was a playoff game, and that's an excellent way to look at things right now.
Well, let's hear from Bracknell's coach, Dave Whistle. He's with Nick.
Dave, you up against the guys who are leading the league right now, and you weren't scared by them, were you?
No, we came in here, we wanted to get at least a point. We did that tonight. I mean, going into overtime, we all agreed we want 2 points. At the end of the day, it didn't matter if we lost the game or not. We were really after a point, and we did get that, so I'm pretty pleased with that.
You came out of the blocks pretty quick.
We did. We've been playing well the last 2 or 3 weeks, and, you know, we kept them down to 3 goals. Bruno played well. The team played well. It's hard to keep a team like that to the score we did, so I'm pretty happy with the guys tonight.
And obviously there's going to be a lot of controversy over that goal. What did you see?
I don't know. I thought the net went off the moorings before the puck had crossed the line. I saw him kick the puck up, but I think it might have hit his stick prior to it going in the net. But I don't want to comment until I actually see. I mean, it's a frustrating sport. You're going to yell at people. It's just that's part of the game. Maybe tomorrow morning when I watch the game tape again, I'll see that it went in, and hopefully I don't, though.
So now you got to just dry the equipment and get ready for tomorrow night.
We do. We got another big game here tomorrow. We want another point. These are 2 big games. It's hard to come here and win. So, you know, we got 1 point. Now we're just going to focus tomorrow, and hopefully we get 1 or 2 more.
You got your eyes set on that 4th spot?
Oh, definitely. I mean, and that's why these points right here are big. We want to stay ahead of them. I think we're 1 point back in front of Air again. Air and Sheffield they're fighting on our tails, so it's going to be a hard-fought battle.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thanks very much.
Big effort by the Bracknell Bees, and it sees them rising back into 4th spot above the Ayr Scottish Eagles, who got that point last night in their overtime loss against the Sheffield Steelers. So Bracknell back in 4th. Manchester, look at them now, 6 points clear at the top of the table, having used up that game in hand over the Cardiff Devils. And Mike Blaisdell, if they win it tomorrow night again against Bracknell, how important do you think that will be, that they'll be 8 points ahead of Cardiff? I mean, if the Cardiff players are looking at the table and see that, that's not going to be pretty for them, is it?
No, they have to. Cardiff have to count on some people beating Manchester, and you know, they have some tough games though coming up. They have to go into Cardiff, let's not forget, and they also have to come into Nottingham, which is going to be a tough game, I can assure you that. And then they've got to go up into Ayr as well. So I mean, it's not over with yet, but that was a big 2 points for them tonight.
Okay, well, let's see how the fixtures shape up over the next few days or so, and as you say, some big games coming up. Manchester against Bracknell, as we know, again here tomorrow night. And you wonder what sort of side that Kurt Kleinendorf will be able to put out for that one. I mean, he says the injuries aren't serious, but we'll find out more about that, I'm sure. Then on Saturday, we have Ayr against Newcastle and Nottingham against London. Mike, your thoughts on that game against London? Because they've been struggling recently, and they've been racking up some goals against, haven't they?
Well, no, yeah, they're not playing particularly well at the moment, but I know that Jim Fiarchek will try to get his troops sort of rallied for before the playoffs, and they'll certainly want to learn how to win in our rink, because they haven't done that yet this year, and we're expecting a tough game from them.
Is perhaps the biggest thing from your point of view, you have this semi-final coming up, and you won't want the players to take their eye off the ball in terms of the league?
Well, we have to play. We want to continue playing well, and we want to beat teams in our rink. That's important. So our Saturday night game is important to us. But then we also have our eyes on the Cup, and it's Sunday afternoon in Cardiff, and then they do not happen to play Friday or Saturday night. So Sunday they're going to be a well-rested team. We have to travel down to Cardiff, and you know, having played the night before, so we have a little bit of a disadvantage there.
Well, as you know, Manchester were due to play their Challenge Cup semi-final on Sunday. It got moved back to the Saturday, which means they've got these 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
And Sheffield as well. That's going to be tough.
Real tough. And they're going to play this Bracknell team again tomorrow night. They're going to get banged around again. Let's hope some of their injured guys, for their sake, get back in the lineup. But Sheffield must be just sitting back with their mouths watering right now, just waiting to take these guys, like throwing the prisoners to the lions here. Yeah. And I know Sheffield are very excited about their prospects.
Let's hear from Manchester's captain, Dave Morrison. He's talking to Nick Rothwell.
How long, Andy? Dave, that was a hard-fought battle, eh?
Oh, yeah, right to the end, and, you know, we pulled through. It was a big win, but no time to think about it. We're back at it tomorrow.
Did you think maybe you logged a little bit more ice time than you thought?
Yeah, but I think I'm going to go back to that no time to think about it again, and I was happy to get out there and contribute. You know, at this time of year, I think you do what you can, and whenever it has to be, and it seemed like I got more ice than I thought, and what are you going to do? It happened. Just happy to play.
You came up against a team that are, just like you guys, desperate for points.
Yeah, they are. I mean, that was a real hard game. I mean, that was like a playoff type game, and you know, that's the type of game where you just got to grind it out. You got to take advantage of your chances and play well defensively, and we got the job done tonight.
Looking forward to meeting them tomorrow?
Oh yeah, I think there's no love lost from tonight, so we'll see how it goes tomorrow. We'll be ready.
How's the injury going along there, Dave?
It's good. You know, I had to have it repaired about a week or so ago, but it feels much better, and you know, I got the visor, so we're just going to keep going at it. I don't care. I'm not going to think about it. Just keep playing.
You got the Challenge Cup semifinal on Saturday. It's a pretty busy schedule for you guys.
Yeah, and it always seems to be at this time of year. And, you know, the guys are prepared for it. You know, we've been working hard all year. And, you know, I think we have enough depth here that, you know, we'll be able to get the job done.
Do you think you can get your hands on the silverware, the most important thing?
I hope so. I know it's not going to be for a lack of trying. We're going to give it our best every night. And I think if we do, we'll certainly have a good shot at it.
I think that's what everyone's talking about, is the Manchester Storm are taking things one game at a time. You're not allowed to talk about anything in the changing room except the game that you're about to face.
Well, I think you have to. I mean, you're using all the cliches at this time of year. And, I mean, it just seems in any type of playoff situation in hockey, you know, that's the way it's got to be. You can never let yourself get carried away by games you're going to play 3 weeks from now. I mean, if you do and your head's not totally into the game at hand, that's when you get stung. So I think really it's the best medicine. That's the way you have to think about it, and you can't. You got to really even almost break it down to one shift at a time, you know?
What's the feeling like in the changing room? Do the guys seem quite excited about everything that's happening?
I think so, but, you know, it's like you said, you know, we're taking it one game at a time, and I mean, it's it's subdued in a way as well, because we're not getting carried away by the moment. You know, it's just, we're just working hard, and you know, we're trying to have some fun, and it's nice to be in this situation, actually. You know, it's not often you get down the stretch in a dogfight and have a Challenge Cup going at the same time, and it just seems you got everything coming from all angles. So we're just trying to enjoy the moment and work hard.
Well, thanks a lot, Dave. You can go get some rest now.
Thanks, Nick.
Well, the thoughts of Dave Morrison. Mike Blaisdell, he seems to be looking at it in a very calm, collected and reasonable way.
I thought he said it perfectly, just the way they should be. They do have to take it one game at a time, and they have a lot of games coming up.
Yeah, and presumably when you're going into a situation like this, you need people like Dave Morrison in the team who are going to, you know, be a good influence for everybody else.
Yeah, and they've got guys. They got some real experience in that team. You know, they haven't won any silverware, but they've got these players from all different clubs, and they're winners. That club's a club full of winners. You know, you got guys. Again, Rick Brandt, the way he played tonight, he's won titles. You know, you look at the trophies he's won, and he's a guy that will be in that room, and he knows it's one game, one shift at a time, and you know, they're just doing their best job. But they have a great goaltender behind them, and they're a good club, and they have a nice lead.
Let's just remind people then of some of the other games coming up over the next week or so. We've talked about your semi-final in the Challenge Cup against Cardiff, which could be interesting, couldn't it? Then on Sunday, Newcastle against the Sheffield Steelers, and some big games there, obviously, next Wednesday, Mike. Scottish Eagles, who did so much last year, do you think they could prove a thorn in the side for Manchester? I mean, they'd probably enjoy doing that, wouldn't they, beating them there?
Yes, they will, and they're the title holders from last year, and they certainly do not want Manchester to win it on their ice, that's for sure. But Ayr are the team that a lot of us are worried about, because they've had a few problems this year. They haven't really played up to their potential, I don't believe.
And you feel there's more to come?
Yeah, I really do, and I think they're the type of team that can raise their game for the playoff-type games, and they're going to be a force in the playoffs, certainly.
Yeah. And what about the Cardiff-Sheffield encounter? Because Sheffield have been a bit in and out all season, really, haven't they?
But Sheffield's tough on their own ice. They've been very tough on their own ice, and I don't think Cardiff has a good record this year in Sheffield, and so that's another game that you know, Cardiff have their work cut out if they're going to win this Super League.
Okay, well, it was a disappointing weekend for the Devils, going down to Mike's Nottingham Panthers. They lost ground on the leaders Manchester Storm. Let's review the games of the last few days or so in Rink Roundup.
8,500 fans watched Manchester maintain their unbeaten home record against Ayr in the Super League. It was Brad Rubichuk who opened the scoring after just 2 minutes, equaling Craig Woodcroft's record of 55 goals for the club. Midway through the second, Ayr found their equalizer, Alan Schuler lifting the puck over Peter Angelo for his second goal in consecutive games against the Storm. But Manchester hit back within minutes, Jablonski striking on the power play to make it 2-1. And in the third, Jeff Tomlinson unleashed this beauty to send the Storm fans home happy. 3-1 to Manchester, and the third win in a row. It started well for London in this battle in Sheffield. Eric Clinton put them one up in the first period. But Sheffield went on to crush the Knights with 7. 4 came in the second, and in the third, Tony Hand went 1-0, and Priestley did the damage to make it 5-1. This goal came courtesy of Ed Courtney with his second in the Steelers' 6th with 5 minutes on the clock. And Wilson added another for a 7-1 victory. On Sunday, London let in another 7. This time, it was Ayr who racked them up. Former Knight Corey Lyons led the way in the first period. 2 more followed, then Hode got the 4th with this effort at the end of the first. London then swapped goaltenders, Mark Kavlin coming on to relieve Peter Aslan, but by then the game was all but over, although this great assist by Cooper set up Gatto, who fanned on the shot for London's 3rd. But it was a night for the Scots, and Lions grabbed the 7th of the evening. Cardiff's title hopes were dealt a massive blow when they lost to Nottingham. Thornton did put them 1 up early in frame 2. And it looked even better when Matulik rounded off a fine play to add number 2, 3 minutes later. But the second frame brought two Panthers goals as well. First hadn't found the top corner of Herlovsky's net for his 50th Super League goal. Then after some good work by Carpenter and Zakuski, 80 tied the game on the rebound. In the third, with the Devils failing to find the shots, the Panthers hit top gear. Jamie Leach lighting the lamp thanks to Kolsar and Weaver. And in the final minute, Leach found the empty net for his second, leaving Cardiff's coach Paul Heavey to reflect on what might have been.
And one other update for you. Tonight in the Super League, Newcastle against the London Knights. That game finished 3-1 in favour of London, so they're back to winning ways after an awful weekend. The next live ice hockey for you on Sky Sports is coming up next Thursday night. What a game in prospect. Nottingham Panthers against the Manchester Storm next Thursday, 7:30. Sky Sports 3. Mike Blaisdell sitting here probably already looking forward to that one.
Well, I hope they don't. They can't win the title that night or something. But no, we'll be ready for them, and we want to make sure that we play strong in our rink, especially going into the playoffs.
I mean, we'll all remember obviously what happened in the semi-final of the B&H Cup. Will it be a similar sort of feel, a similar situation? Is that what you'll be telling your guys?
No, we'll go after them. We'll go right after them for the whole game. I think we have to force people in our rink, and we'll take the body all night. And so, you know, we see that they may be weakened a little bit here by some injuries, and we'll try to take advantage of that.
A couple of weeks to go then. Who's it going to be for you, the league title?
Well, I mean, obviously my money would be on Manchester right now. But you know, it certainly isn't over. I mean, tonight was a key. I mean, Bracknell could have easily won that hockey game, and that would have really given Cardiff a little bit of hope. But it's still not over, and I mean, Cardiff would be foolish to think it is over, because they still have a chance. Those guys are hurting down there.
Great. Thanks very much for being with us tonight, Mike. I know you've enjoyed it. What a great game. Bracknell came and gave their all. Not quite enough, though. Great night for Manchester Storm. Bye-bye from Manchester.
Each day full of promise, each day to make my own. The promises are broken by like me. Oh, all my life I've been waiting for this. Now I'm waiting for something else. Yeah, and I can't sleep, 'cause I'm not very tired. So I sit in my room and pretend that I don't want my day to end, that I don't